Eastern Conference has been crowning gridiron champions for 57 years. And during that span, one name has been conspicuously absent from that list of champions.
You know, looking back, I mean, that's so many years and so many opportunities that at least, you know, I think at least one Florida team would win the title, especially, you know, years when Coach Spurrier was here winning the Heisman. You'd think he'd, you know, be able to direct the team to the conference championship. You know, yeah, it really is surprising that it's never happened.
With dominating performances over traditional SEC powers Tennessee, Auburn, and Georgia, Florida has put themselves in the driver's seat to accomplish what no other Florida team has ever done.
Well, it's going to be great to say we were the first official champions. You know, you'll remember for the rest of your lives, tell your grandkids, your kids, and, you know, Florida fans from now on will remember the 1991 team. And, you know, we worked hard for this to reach this goal, and we're finally here.
Could this finally be the year of the Gator? Find out next on Sports Channel. From Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida, Sports Channel presents University of Florida football. Tonight, the University of Kentucky Wildcats take on the Florida Gators. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium on the campus of the University of Florida, and today the Florida Gators go after their first ever official Southeastern Conference Championship. Hi again, everybody. David Steele with Jim Yarborough, and this could be a very historic day in University of Florida football history as the Gators go after that Southeastern Conference title. For a guy like Jim Yarborough, who played football at the University of Florida, well, you have a full understanding of what today's events could bring about for the Gators.
I think so, David. As a player in the 60s, I was personally responsible for 3 Gator teams that did not win Southeastern Conference championships. In the 70s, Doug Dickey comes into Florida after winning 3 Southeastern Conference championships at Tennessee and doesn't get it done. In the 80s, Galen Hall and Charlie Pell do get it done in 84 and 85, but NC2A sanctions take it away. 1990, Steve Spurrier's first year, the Gators have the best record in the conference, but no championship. A lot of frustration here at the University of Florida, and a real thrill for those kids on the field today if they can win it all.
And those kids for the Florida Gators have done it this year in very impressive fashion. As you see, the road to the Southeastern Conference crown to this point, and the Gators have dominated, Jim.
Well, they really have, and that's a surprise. Even though they did have the best record in the conference last year, it's the margin of victory this year that's so exceptional. From the first game as they shut out Alabama through last week's domination of Georgia, it's been just a fantastic season for the Florida Gators.
And the final stumbling block, the final roadblock to the Southeastern Conference crown for the Gators, the Kentucky Wildcats, a ball club that is winless in the Southeastern Conference. Jim, if you're Coach Bill Curry, what do you tell your team coming into Florida field today?
Well, he's been preaching mental toughness and positive attitude all season long, and the kids have to go out there believing they can win. You don't give up. You go out there and play the game. It's not one on the sports pages. It's one out there between the stripes. So he's going to tell the kids to circle the wagons and get out there and do the best they can and think they can win this game. Anything can happen in college football.
We take a look at the Kentucky Wildcat youth. Only 4 starters on this football team in the senior class, only 7 total. So it is somewhat of a young football team, at least in regards to the senior class, but Kentucky has just had one of those seasons that I'm sure they would just as soon forget about, and they'll be trying to regain some respect, though, today against the Florida Gators. Well, it's time to check in with our sideline man, Steve Babick, who has some further thoughts on the Gators' bid for the SEC crown. Steve?
David and Jim, it's Florida, Kentucky, but where are the gray skies? Where are those 20-degree weathers we're so used to when Florida and Kentucky play? And in fact, you think back to that 1984 game in Lexington, the gray skies and the cold weather, and Gator fans remember that game awfully well. But 1991, maybe this is really the year of the Gator. The Gators at home here under Steve Spurrier, 10-0. And in 1991, those wins have included Tennessee and Alabama. And now Kentucky comes in, and the Gators have a chance for that #1 spot in the SEC undisputed Southeastern Conference Championship. A beautiful Florida day to go along with this game. A made-to-order game for the Gators. Let's go back upstairs to David and Jim.
Thank you, Steve, and it's almost time to kick it off as the Gators go for the SEC crown today in Gainesville. We'll be back with the opening kick right after this.
Sports Channel's coverage of Florida Gator football is brought to you by Dairy Farmers Incorporated. Milk, it does a body good. By First Union Service, we guarantee it. By Osmos and Great Southern Wood, the most trusted name in wood preserving. By OM Genuine Draft and OM Genuine Draft Light. Real draft beer without the K. By Emily Southeast Formula Motor Oil, built to keep it cool when the heat is on. And by Chevrolet and your Florida Chevrolet dealers.
Welcome back to Florida Field. A beautiful November day in Gainesville. 78 degrees. No rain predicted. The Florida Gators just taking the field. The Kentucky Wildcats already stationed along the far side of the football field. And we are just about set for Southeastern Conference football. The Osmos Great Southern Wood key matchups for today's football game. The Florida Gators, the #1 offensive team in the Southeastern Conference, against Kentucky's last-ranked defense, Jim.
Wildcats really having problems all season long, stopping everybody in a number of categories. They're last in the Southeastern Conference in defense. Conversely, the Gators' offensive unit dominates statistically in the Southeastern Conference.
Keep Pookie in the pocket. Kentucky quarterback, an outstanding one, Pookie Jones.
Well, he's got great scrambling ability. His ability to get outside puts pressure on the corners of any defense. And so they're hoping that that pressure will enable them to move the ball with some consistency this afternoon.
As far as the series is concerned between Florida and Kentucky, well, the Gators have really dominated this series in the last several years. In fact, the Gators lost only once to Kentucky in the 1980s, and the last Kentucky victory was in 1986. And
generally
played in Lexington.
Yeah, generally a very competitive ball game, however, even though the Gators do dominate in terms of wins and losses.
There's the Kentucky Wildcats season. Their victories over Miami of Ohio and Kent State and the Cincinnati Bearcats. They played LSU a tight football game, and that's really the most competitive Southeastern Conference game they've had so far this year. And Florida's almost a blemish-free schedule with that one exception at Syracuse in game #3. Bill Curry, in his second year at the helm of the University of Kentucky football program, his 12th season overall as a head coach. Georgia Tech grad. And Steve Spurrier, also in his second season as the head coach of the Florida Gators, and 17-3 with the Florida Gators. Undefeated here at home so far, and hoping to keep it that way, certainly, in this big football game today for the Florida Gators. #3 is Larry Kennedy. Number 84 is Harrison Houston. And kicking off for Kentucky is number 21, Doug Pelfrey. This game is underway from Florida Field, and Houston comes out from the goal line. Harrison Houston dragged down at the 24-yard line, and that's where the Florida offense takes control of the football. Shane Bell made the tackle for Kentucky. Quarterback Shane Matthews, the junior from Pascagoula, and there's the Gator offense. Harrison Houston had a big game last week against Georgia with 6 receptions for almost 100 yards. And the offensive line for the Florida Gators, Jim Watson, probably the most unheralded member of that offensive line, but had a big game last week in Jacksonville.
2 great games back-to-back at Auburn and against Georgia for that offensive line.
Matthews wants to throw on first down, and he has to dump the football, getting a lot of pressure right up the middle from Derek Thomas, the senior tackle from Lexington, number 56. Matthews will be looking at this Kentucky Wildcat defense. Zane Bean, a big play man along that front line for the Kentucky Wildcats. Their linebackers led by Marty Moore, an inside backer who has more tackles than anybody else on the football team, and Brad Armstead in the secondary has 4 interceptions for the season. 2nd and 10 to play action. And the pass is caught and then dropped by Willie Jackson. They'll say he caught it and was down, and the Gators will have a first down at the 39.
Yeah, he had possession of the football, and it was stripped as he hit the turf by Sherwood, the defensive back. But once again, Shane Matthews on target early. He's the straw that stirs the drink, obviously, of this Gator offense, and one of his favorite receiver, if not the favorite receiver of Shane Matthews, is young Willie Jackson, the sophomore wide receiver.
First running play of the afternoon, and Eric Rett pounds it across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Again, Derek Thomas, number 56, was there to make the tackle. Eric Rett, number 33, the sophomore from Pembroke Pines, has rushed for 846 yards coming into this afternoon's game. The numbers on Rett. That play picked up about 4. Kentucky lines up with 5 men across the front. They rush 4. Jackson. Another Florida first down to midfield. Marty Moore, the linebacker, made the stop.
Willie Jackson simply runs a hook route. Bill Campbell, the rover, backs off a little bit. As you see to the left of your screen, he'll break on the ball. Number 9, there he is. Willie just with a little hook route, and again, a first down for the Gators. You know, at Auburn and against Georgia on the first 2 drives of the afternoon that the Gators have had, David, they marched down the field for touchdowns in those ball games, and they're on their way right now as well.
Matthews going deep for Jackson, and he overthrows him at the 5-yard line. They're going right at number 9, Bill Campbell, who is the 3rd-team rover in the Kentucky defense. Sterling Ward and Salim Shahid both rank 1 and 2 ahead of number 9, Campbell, but they're both out with the flu bug that's hit the Lexington campus.
They didn't even make the trip. They were so sick, we understand.
Jackson's had such a tremendous sophomore season, as has number 84, Harrison Houston, for the Gators. Matthews went for the home run on first down. Now it's 2nd down and 10. Good protection again. And Trey Everett on the receiving end of this Shane Matthews pass. And it looks to be good for another Florida first down to the 39-yard line of Kentucky.
That formation so difficult to stop, as the Gators have 3 wide receivers, and then they have another wide receiver split out at the tight end position, Monty Duncan. So in essence, 4 quality wide receivers on the field, putting a lot of pressure on the defense. That time they go short.
Everett's been bothered by an assortment of injuries all season long. Only 15 catches now. 16 with that last one for Everett. He came into the season as the most heralded among the Florida wide receivers. Eric Rett pounds it down to the 31-yard line of Kentucky. Linebacker Reggie Smith, number 46, there to make the tackle. Nice block by Dexter McNabb, the Gator fullback, to clear the way.
Yeah, Eric Rett's had such success because he's had the blocking of Dexter McNabb to lead the way for him, as well as the big guys up front. You know, it's nice to see Trey Everett in the game a moment ago. We saw number 24. We hadn't seen that jersey on the field in so many weeks as we look at McNabb in the huddle. But Trey Everett, the senior, was the number 1 receiver coming into this season for the Gators, and has hardly played due to a hamstring injury.
And there's a portrait of the 1991 season for the Kentucky Wildcats. An injured player on the field. The Florida Gators driving on their first possession. 12:27 to play in the first quarter from Florida Field. The injured Kentucky player just making his way off the field, Brad Armstead, the leader of the Wildcats secondary. He has 4 pass interceptions this year, and among their leading tacklers, he's an outstanding football player, a junior from Henderson, Kentucky. Hopefully not injured too badly. Let's see if we can see where he got hurt.
Right there, he looked like he stretched his leg out as he made the tackle.
Matthews looks for the tight end. George Rushing has the football and is out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Deuce Williams, number 3 for Kentucky, made the tackle.
A big roar from the crowd as the tight end catches the ball.
Only his 2nd reception of the year.
Right, an excellent catch. The tight end, again, not used that much in the offense this season after the graduation of Kirk Kirkpatrick, but that was an excellent bootleg on which the tight end was the primary receiver.
Matthews moving the Gators up the field on this first possession. That is Everett in motion, or rather Rhett in motion, and there's also Mark White in motion off the left side of the line.
That looked like Canadian football right there. 2 men in motion at the same time. Mark White getting a bit of a quick start.
That'll push him back 5 yards. The Gators, the most penalized team in the Southeastern Conference. Kentucky, the least penalized team in the league.
Really hasn't made a difference, however, in terms of their won-loss records, but that's not the kind of category you want to lead the conference in. Yards against yourself via the penalty.
Kentucky has yet to get a rush on Matthews. And the pass not caught fairly by Harrison Houston. He was out of bounds when he caught the football. That'll bring up 3rd down, or rather 2nd down and 15 from the 27.
What was obvious, however, was the amount of protection that Matthews got. He had all kinds of time to look downfield, but the zone 3 deep coverage of Kentucky all over the Gator wide receivers, finally to Houston, and 1 foot out of bounds, both feet out of bounds.
It looked like he had Jackson open over the middle. And Houston had a couple of yards on his man also. So now 2nd and 15. The Gators offensive line doing a great job protecting the quarterback, and Rhett couldn't hold on to the football. He got racked up pretty good by number 59, Zane Bean. That'll bring up 3rd down and 15.
Once again, Kentucky in a 3 deep zone, playing very deep in the secondary, not allowing any of those Gator wide receivers to get behind them, and Matthews having trouble finding anyone open, so he dumps it to Rhett, and the ball's knocked away by the inside linebacker.
The next Shane Matthews touchdown pass will set a new Florida and Southeastern Conference record for touchdown passes in a season. He's got 24, which matches Coach John Reeves' number. Now coaching the Gator team. Wide open is Houston. Houston looking for that 1st down marker, and I believe he's got it at the 11. Don Robinson, the cornerback on the left side for Kentucky, made the tackle, but he couldn't keep Houston from picking up the necessary yardage.
David, this is really the same pass route that gave the Georgia Bulldogs so much trouble last week. You got 2 wide receivers on the right, 1 deep, 1 going short. That time they hit Harrison Houston, the short receiver, who runs after he catches the ball to pick up the 1st down.
The blitz is on, and that gives Matthews a chance to find a Willie Jackson at the 6-yard line. Again, Robinson was there to make the tackle, but a gain of 5. Houston and Jackson, a couple of super sophomores on this Florida offensive unit. Look where they rank in the Southeastern Conference: touchdowns, catches, yards per game, points. In the top 11 in each of those categories, both of them.
And they're both on the same side of the field right now, as you see on the right side of the formation.
But the handoff goes to Rhett, and he is driven down by linebacker Marty Moore, the sophomore from Fort Thomas, Kentucky.
Marty Moore, as you mentioned, with over 100 tackles for his Wildcat defensive team, one of the leaders in the country in tackles. Did an excellent job of breaking on that draw play that's been the bread and butter for Eric Rhett all season long. Probably 40 or 50% of Eric Rhett's yardage has been picked up on that draw play.
No tight end, 4 wide receivers for the Gators. And Aubrey Hill with the touchdown. The freshman from Miami, Carroll City, pulls it in, and Shane Matthews is now the all-time leader in touchdown passes in a season in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, you mentioned 4 wide receivers. Actually, there were 5. They had no backs. Aubrey Hill was the new receiver in the ballgame. He comes up with the touchdown grab.
That is Hill's 3rd touchdown catch of the year. Arden Krzyzewski The extra point, the freshman celebrating on the sideline, and the Gators jump to a 7-0 lead in Gainesville. Let's take a look at the first of what the Gators certainly hope, Jim, will be many touchdowns of the afternoon.
Aubrey Hill to the right of your monitor right there breaks into the end zone on the short post route. He was the 5th wide receiver in that formation, and they just couldn't cover them all.
And he knew he was going to get hit, and hit hard, and he just cradled that football and held on, because he did get a pretty good lick as he hit the goal line. 75-yard drive, 14 plays, 4 minutes, 53 seconds.
Third week in a row, the first opportunity of the afternoon, the Gator offense has gone the distance and gotten 7. That's a championship performance.
That's big. Psychologically, that has to be a big boost, to know that you can take it down the first time you get it all the way through. And Kurt Johnson, the dangerous return man, draws a crowd of blue jerseys, and the Gators take him out at about the 23, led by Del Spear. Kentucky Wildcats offensive unit. Neil Clark needs only 6 receptions to set the single season pass catch record at Kentucky. Greg Lars is good as there is when he's healthy. He's been in and out as far as injuries are concerned. He's a good one on the offensive line. There's the Kentucky quarterback, a redshirt freshman by the name of Pookie Jones. Good combination of run and pass. Versatile quarterback. We expect to see Kentucky come out and try to establish the passing game. They've got Samuels and Walker in the backfield, and they run an option play, and Jones is into the open field. He can really motor, and Kennedy finally gets him at the 39-yard line of Florida. Kentucky comes out with an unbalanced line, and they run the option.
They run it to the wide side of the field as well, and just turn the corner with no problem at all. Pookie Jones will run that option, fake to the fullback. Now, once he's turned the corner, Carlton Miles is blocked inside. B. Bartley's cut down, and Pookie, with his running ability, is sprinting down the sidelines before Kennedy can finally come across the field and knock him out of bounds.
Jones rushed for 77 yards against Ole Miss earlier this year. This is the big fullback. Terry Samuels getting a couple of yards to the 37. The Gator defense, that fine front line. Harvey Thomas bothered a bit by injuries. The linebacking core, Ephesians Bartley figures to be a key player for the Gators because of the scrambling ability of Pookie Jones. Myrick Anderson, perhaps one of the most improved players on the Gator defense from game 1 now to game number 10. There's Harvey Thomas, big number 98, the junior from Pompano Beach.
Now the shotgun formation.
Well, Kentucky's got nothing to lose, except maybe
a quarterback.
The quarterback.
Darren Mickle from the backside overwhelms the block of the tackle. Look to the top of your screen. Mickle working on the outside of the pass rush. Hits Pookie Jones dead center in the back. That's difficult to do, to get to a quarterback in a shotgun, because generally his vision is greater and he can feel the heat. That time he had no idea he was going to get popped.
Now 3rd and 7 for the Wildcats after that 37-yard run by Jones. They've gotten little done on consecutive downs. Gators bring a basic 4-man rush. Jones out of the pocket, but that Gator speed. Linebacker Tim Paulk makes the stop well short of the first down at the 36.
That play was designed to be a sprint out to the right, although he certainly wasn't sprinting. He was feeling his way to the right of the formation all along. You see him moving out. He knew he had a double team block on that corner. Now he's got the time, but as you mentioned, it's the speed of Timmy Paulk that closes on him, prevents Pookie Jones from picking up the first down.
Doug Pelfrey has a strong leg, and we'll see how strong right here. This is a 53-yard attempt. He's got one from 53 already this season. He's capable of hitting one from this range. He's got enough leg, but it is off to the right.
One of the Gator linemen was lined up off sides. The official waited before he made the call, but he just felt he had to make it because he was across the neutral zone. I'm sure that's the call. You got to look where you're lining up. If it is against the Gators, they'll have another opportunity on the kick.
Yeah, from 48 rather than 53.
Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, repeating 4th down.
Yeah, we're a mile away from the action, and we could see that improper alignment. You got to have a sense of where the ball is and where that neutral zone is, especially on a long field goal like that, where the odds are that he's not going to make it.
Well, the 5 yards, Jim, won't give them a first down, but it gets them close enough to feel like they are going to go for it.
And as you mentioned, they have nothing to lose. They're winless in the Southeastern Conference this season.
All right. Walker and Samuels in the backfield on 4th down and a long yard.
Oh,
Jones fumbled the football.
well, I think one reason he fumbled it was because there was about 3 blue jerseys in his face. Let's see if he had the handle at the exchange from center, but I believe it was Tony McCoy and Darren Mickle on their side on the right top side of your screen. Yeah, it was McCoy and Mickle that penetrated. Looks like they knocked the ball loose once Jones got hit.
Well, that Gator defense has just gotten better every week. Second possession of the afternoon. A Matthews pump fake. Trey Everett is out there, and
he got it.
He got the football.
Woo!
65 yards. Boy, would you have liked to see more of him this season. He only played in 5 games due to a number of different injuries, but that guy can really go get the football. Number 24, Trey Everett.
Unbelievable. The senior wide receiver who's been hampered by a hamstring all season long. I'm sorry, junior.
He'd only played in 5 games before this one against Kentucky. Krzyzewski's extra point is perfect once again.
It's been so long since we've seen him on the field, we forgot what class he was in. It's the bomb. You saw the pump. This was the bomb to go to Everett. Look at the ball lay on the back of the Kentucky wide receiver, the defensive back. Melvin Johnson, number 25, was all over Everett. Once again, the ball's going to lay right on Melvin Johnson's back, but Trey Everett concentrates on the ball all the way. He makes the catch with the help of the back of the defender, escapes the tackle by Robinson, and skates into the end zone. Just a fantastic play.
The only mistake that Johnson made, number 25 for Kentucky, he didn't know where the football was. He had his man covered, but you got to know where the football is, and if he had that little piece of information, he might have made a great defensive play.
Well, the defender's obviously at a great disadvantage. He's running for his life, trying to keep up. The wide receiver has a sense of when the ball's going to be released and where it's going to be, but as you mentioned, the defender, he's got to find that ball somehow.
There's Johnson, Kurt Johnson, an exciting return man. He'll be back there with Neil Clark. The Gators have bolted to a 14-0 lead, and Krzyzewski kicks it away again. This will be Johnson from the 6. Down he goes at the 25. Ed Robinson was there to make the tackle. Let's go down to the sideline, and Steve Babick.
David, back during that first offensive series for the Gators, when Brad Armstead got hurt, you mentioned about how he was the heart of the Kentucky defense. How true that is. He's out with a hamstring pull, a severe hamstring pull, or he's out the rest of the game. So maybe if Brad Armstead's back there, maybe that doesn't happen. Who knows? But that's a big blow to the Kentucky defense. And how about Trey Everett? This guy hasn't practiced too very much, but a big-time player. What a great catch off that Kentucky defender's back for the touchdown. Let's go back upstairs.
Wildcats, second possession. And a handoff goes to Clyde Rudolph. He's got excellent speed, and a penalty flag comes in there late. Rudolph picks up about 15 yards on that carry. Let's see what the flag is about. Kentucky was pointing at the Gators. I think number 99, Tim Paulk, got the finger.
Yeah, I think it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on Timmy Paulk, who has a tendency to lose his poise about every other quarter.
I thought you were going to say down.
I was trying to be easy on him.
Personal foul. 15 yards against the defense. First down.
Well, that has been a problem throughout the year for this football team, and fortunately for the Gators, they've been so far ahead of their opponents that for the most part it hadn't cost them those personal foul types of penalties, but you wonder what week it might reach up and grab them, give them problems. Rudolph, as you just saw there, is another injury-plagued football player for Kentucky. Jones just got rid of that football. He saw that Rudolph had nowhere to go even if he completed a pass, and I think he dumped it.
Well, they were trying to slow down the rush with the screen pass, but Carlton Miles, the inside linebacker, and Myrick Anderson, the Gator back, were all over the play, as was Harvey Thomas, the defensive end. One way to slow down a rush is to screen pass on him. But Brad Culpepper gets in Pookie's face, and he has to throw the ball into the ground. Florida with 25 yards and penalties already in the first quarter.
Rudolph is hit by Thomas. Then Bartley brings him down at the 35, a couple of yards short of a first down.
Harvey Thomas failed to wrap him up at or near the line of scrimmage. Ed Robinson finally making the tackle. Kentucky has had problems keeping their running backs healthy all season long. They've really just had a revolving door at the running back position, and really a quarterback as well. When Kentucky runs that unbalanced line, that means the tight end and the split end are on the same side of the line of scrimmage.
Rudolph is short of the first down. I think it was Tim Paulk that got him out on the corner. Number 99 made a nice tackle on a quick little ball player. This Clyde Rudolph is a sprinter on the Kentucky track team, and he can make the big play for you.
Third down conversions. The Gators are just doing a great job preventing the opponent from converting those third downs to first downs. This time they come back out with 4th and short and decide to go with the long place kick, as we look at Ron Zook, the coordinator, who's watching along the sideline.
Pelfrey, number 21, has 4 kicks in his career of beyond 50 yards. This one's from 52. Myrick Anderson almost got it, but Pelfrey has that strong leg, and he had plenty of room to spare on that kick. A 52-yard kick that would have been good from 60.
That's unbelievable. No tee, off the ground, 52 yards, and it could have been 62, I think. What a talent.
That puts Kentucky on the boards, but the Gators still up by 11 in the first period. Football continues with the biggest game of the year, Saturday, November 30th at 11:30 p.m. when the Gators host the Florida State Seminoles at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. Only on Sports Channel, home of the Gators. Check local listings for Sports Channel and Gator Vision coverage in your area. Background music furnished by Jim Yarbrough.
I know that chant. I've heard it before. Up close and personal, I've heard it before.
Pelfrey kicks off. Houston, 5 yards deep, downs it. This is business as usual for Doug Pelfrey.
Really, this is a great individual performance right here. Look at the height that he gets on that kick. No doubt about it, he says. Nothing to it.
Kentucky puts 3 points on the board with that 39-yard drive. The run by Rudolph, the big play. Matthews on first down. Has Monty Duncan at the 38-yard line.
On the crossing route, behind the linebackers, in front of the 3-deep zone. You have the luxury of running those crossing routes when you get great protection up front, and that's exactly what happened. Monty Duncan with the catch. Matthews looking for Duncan, do you see him hesitate and then wait till he crossed away from the inside linebacker there? When you have the luxury of time, you can do that.
Matthews got a little pressure for the first time today, but still completed the pass to Dexter McNabb. Marty Moore was there to make the tackle for the Wildcats. Gain of about 9.
Coach Spurrier was really high on his praise for Dexter McNabb after last week's ball game against the Georgia Bulldogs. Dexter got to carry the ball a little bit more than normal, but Coach said he could play tailback if there wasn't an Eric Redd around. He's got excellent hands coming out of the backfield, too. Look at that stat. 164 passing to Zip.
Run the sweep to the right side, and Rett gets the first down and about an additional 4 yards to the 46-yard line of Kentucky.
We talked about Eric Rett getting most of his yards, or a great percentage of his yards via the draw. That time, that's power football. The power sweep, Eric Rett on the outside corner picking up the first down. And the Gators are in Wildcat territory again.
Moving the football at will in the first period. That's an incomplete pass to McNabb.
I started bragging on him too soon, didn't I? A little too hot to handle. That would not have gained anything anyway, as Kentucky had it well defensed. You're looking at probably the greatest quarterback in the history of the University of Florida right there, and he's just a junior. And that's high praise for Shane Matthews, but it's deserved, I believe.
There's some of the reasons why what you say is such a valid comment, Jim. You see, he's chasing a very prestigious record there held by Kurt Page of Vanderbilt. He's in a position to take a few Southeastern Conference records before he finishes at Florida.
And the team can set a conference record as well in terms of total offense.
That pass caught by Houston amidst 3 Wildcat defenders. Robinson, number 38, made the tackle on Harrison Houston. But the Gators pick up yet another first down at the 33-yard line of the Wildcats. That play good for 12 more yards.
You know, the Gators seem to pass the ball more often than they run, but it's really not true. This balanced offense is 50-50, run and pass. This time, Matthews hitting Harrison Houston.
Kentucky with the blitz on, and Matthews single coverage with Everett. He caught it again. "33-yard touchdown pass from Matthews to Trey Everett."
Adrian Sherwood, number 24 for Kentucky, stride for stride with Trey Everett, but the spectacular catch cannot be denied.
Florida just pouring it on in the first period. 3 touchdown passes by Matthews.
Trey saying, I told you to let me back in that ball game. Over 100 yards receiving on his 3 receptions early in this ball game.
Krzyzewski adds another extra point. He hasn't missed one of those all year. Everett with those 3 receptions, 2 for a touchdown today. Now has 6 touchdown catches this year, 9 in his career.
Great protection up front. The quarterback can take the stride and let the ball fly. Trey Everett, the junior wide receiver, has sprinted down the sideline, just has that 1/2 step, but when the ball's right on the button, as Matthews has done so often, it results in a touchdown catch.
Single coverage, Kentucky with the blitz coming, and Rett picked up the blitz nicely and helped to give Matthews enough time to deliver the football.
Boy, they're racking up some total yards, aren't they?
Man, already. Matthews is what? 12 out of 16. 12 out of 17. 13 out of 17, Rick. And over 200 yards passing in this football game.
That last drive was 80 yards. Big numbers by this Gator offense already this afternoon.
We've still got 3:43 left in the first quarter. It's 21-3 Florida.
But I still want to watch, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Johnson and Clark deep again. Johnson from the 5. And out to the 25. He was hit first by Myrick Anderson and stumbled along for another 5 yards. And that's where Kentucky will put the ball in play at its own 25-yard line. Let's go back down on the field with Steve Babbitt.
David and Jim, as soon as Trey made that great catch, I was right behind Dr. Pete Nilicato and Chris Patrick, and I joked with those guys saying, can you guys keep this guy healthy for a whole season because of the explosive nature of Trey Everett? But in all seriousness, it's a great tribute to Chris Patrick, Dr. Sherritt, and Dr. Nilicato, the Florida Sports Medicine staff, that they're able to stay with the Trey Everett, work on that hamstring, and get him ready so he can have some games left. And obviously now is a good time to get healthy with Kentucky, Florida State, and the Sugar Bowl looking down the road. Let's go back upstairs.
Well, he's had a hamstring injury. He's had a hip pointer. Those injuries off and on throughout the year. Johnson shaken up, the man who carried the football on the kickoff.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver as well, and those small bodies can take a pounding on that football field. He's only 145 pounds, 5'7".
Talking about Shane Matthews, he's got 200 yards passing already in the quarter, but he's also completed 7 of his last 8 passes for 167 yards and 3 touchdowns. A packed house at Florida Field, and the Gators out to a 21-3 lead in the first quarter. The backs are Rudolph and Samuels. And Pookie Jones throwing on first down. The ball is caught. And out of bounds goes the receiver, number 95, Tim Calvert. He is a sophomore from Mount Washington, Kentucky.
Steve Bartley had coverage underneath. Del Spear was deep right there, but Calvert was able to split them along the sideline and pick up a first down as you look at his yards for the season.
Well, Kentucky football teams have given Florida football teams lots of problems throughout the years. I'm not sure if this Kentucky football team has the firepower to stay with the Gators here this afternoon. Look at that. Timeout called. The ball snapped.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And they gave him the timeout.
As he turned away, the referee also turned away and didn't see the ball being snapped and then called the timeout. Look at him turn away. There's the snap. Yeah, he got his hands up, but that was close. That could have been dangerous.
There's one for the blooper reel.
Look, Coach
Almost.
Curry has said, hey, we got lucky there.
The veteran coach, the young quarterback, Pookie Jones, second-year player, was redshirted last season. He was Mr. Football in the state of Kentucky.
You know what's great about that picture, though, is Bill Curry has got a positive expression on his face. He's looking at his quarterback and talking to him, you know, as the true leader of their program and trying to encourage the kid rather than jump on him, you know, and I think that's a tribute to Bill Curry.
Some of the problems that Kentucky has had this year, and there you go.
Turnovers.
Look at them one by one. Turnovers. Their rushing game has not been up to par. And their fourth quarter, they've really been outscored in a big way in the fourth period. That's not a good sign for today.
That could be ominous, right, for this afternoon.
Again from the shotgun on 1st and 10. And that pass is caught by Neil Clark. Clark down at the 40-yard line. Will White was there to make the tackle. Clark just needs 5 more catches now to set the new single-season pass-catching record at the University of Kentucky.
Once again, that was a designed rollout to the right where the defensive end, Bill Gunner's going to get double-teamed. He's going to get knocked inside. Culpepper's trying to get outside. He wasn't able to get out there in time and put any pressure at all on Pookie Jones. Clark has plenty of time to get downfield along the sideline to come up with a catch.
Here's the handoff to Rudolph. And Rudolph is slam dunked down at the 44-yard line. Carlton Miles and Bill Gunner.
You talked about this defense getting better. Early in the season, they were like number 7, number 6 in the Southeastern Conference in total defense. Now they're number 1 in total defense in the Southeastern Conference. They've really improved game after game. They've always been tough against the rush all season long. There's starter Harvey Thomas back on the field as Bill Gunner comes out.
A couple of young players have developed on that defensive football team to really help the Gators establish themselves among the best in the league. Jones finds nobody. Pass out of bounds at about the 30-yard line of Florida. That stops the clock with 1:51 left in the first period and brings up a 3rd down and 12 for the Wildcats.
You know, Tommy Bowden was the offensive coordinator at Kentucky last year, but he left to join the staff at Auburn. Tommy Bowden, of course, the son of Bobby Bowden at Florida State. Now it's Rick Rhodes, the offensive coordinator, leading the attack for the Wildcats. Last year they did throw for over 300 yards against the Gators, but this afternoon they're really having problems getting things going on offense.
Wildcats 0 for 2 on 3rd down conversions. This is 3rd and 12. Jones goes down. Darren Mickle back at the 45-yard line.
Well, that was really a mismatch because somehow Terry Samuels, the fullback, got hooked up on the defensive end, big Darren Mickle. Look to the left of your screen. You're going to see the 44, the fullback, leading on the defensive end. He tries to cut him at the ankles. Mickle's too good of an athlete to go down, and he comes up with the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Kentucky punting for the first time today. This is Bill Hawk, who kicks it all the way through the end zone. Hawk, strong-legged young kicker, just booted it a little bit too far that time. He'd like to have backed the Gators up inside their 20, but Florida will have the football at its own 20-yard line with 1:10 left in the first period. 21-3, the Gators in control of this game at this point.
And that Gator defense got a standing ovation, and well-deserved, from this partisan crowd at Florida Field as the Gators march toward their first ever uncontested Southeastern Conference championship.
The Gators have had 3 possessions and 3 touchdown passes. Willie McClendon is in the ball game, and he carries it right up the middle for a couple of yards out to the 21, 22-yard line. That looks like a complete game. This is the first quarter.
We're still in the first quarter, and he's got 210 yards passing the football. Unbelievable. Maybe a Heisman Trophy candidate, huh? What do you think?
I don't know how you can deny him that status, at least.
It depends on how the Gators finish their season. Matthews obviously deserving
at
a
least
lot of
get
support.
some recognition.
Yeah.
That ball in and out of the hands of Willie Jackson.
Marty Moore.
The clock. 28 seconds left in the quarter.
Marty Moore, that time the inside linebacker, did a great job of dropping back in the zone. There's a crossing route again. You're going to see him try to get behind the linebacker, Moore, but Moore reacts after the ball was behind Willie Jackson. Actually, Willie couldn't come up with it because it was behind him, but Moore was doing a good job on his drop there. Gators 2 of 2 in 3rd down conversions.
Pressure from the outside. The ball is caught by Houston. And Harrison Houston has the first down and steps out of bounds at the 32-yard line. That'll keep this Florida possession going. Gators now 3 of 3 on 3rd down conversions. Houston now has caught 3 passes for 39 yards. He caught 6 last week in Jacksonville against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Vanderbilt ate up a lot of clock against this Kentucky defense last week, and the Gators continue to eat up the clock as well this afternoon with their brand of offense.
This pass complete to Monty Duncan. He steps out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Gain of 8. Second catch of the afternoon for Monty Duncan, sophomore from St. Augustine.
It's got to be great to be a wide receiver at the University of Florida. Wake up on Saturday morning and realize you're going to get ball after ball thrown to you on Florida Field. That's got to make the playing even more exciting because they really spread the ball around to a number of receivers.
Nice block by Ishmael. Right up the middle goes Rhett. Across the 50 to the 47-yard line of Kentucky. That was a great block by Hisham Ishmael, number 77. He sealed off the right side of the line.
He's had a great year. The senior at offensive guard will get a chance to continue to play in the NFL, I'm sure. But he's really graded out very well all season long. You see him at left guard right there, blocking with Cal Dixon. That's a load when you get Ishmael and Dixon double teaming on you.
Well, that's the final play of the first period. The Gators across the 50-yard line again, threatening to put more points on the board. They're on top 21-3 as we go to the second quarter from Florida Field. Join host Mick Hubert for a special Wednesday night edition of Gator Hotline, November 20th at 6:30 p.m. with head coach Steve Spurrier as the Gators prepare to close out the 91 season against the FSU Seminoles, only on Sports Channel, home of the Gators. Check local listings for Sports Channel and Gator Vision coverage in your area.
10th leading rusher in the University of Florida history. Eric Rhett, he's only a sophomore.
First play of the second quarter is a completed pass to Eric Rhett. Gain of about 5 yards.
And I'm going to have to call that hotline and talk to Coach Spurrier. What I don't understand is how he makes it look so easy. They just make it look so easy going up and down the field. And believe me, it's not easy. It's just unbelievable how Shane Matthews has directed this Gator offense. Look at that production last week. SEC Player of the Week. He just continues to spoil Gator fans week after week.
Matthews back to throw again. And again, he's got his receiver. And again, another Florida first down. That's Willie Jackson on the receiving end of another Shane Matthews pass. Jackson's fourth catch of the afternoon.
Where did that ball hit on that 22
right
jersey?
Between the two.
It did, right between the twos. Willie Jackson runs the route, but then look where the ball is. Right between the numbers. It's like a bullet heading for the target.
Matthews continues to pick apart the Kentucky defense. Blitz is on. The pass complete to Jackson. Makes a nice move around Campbell. And Willie steps out of bounds at the Kentucky 20-yard line. Robinson finally made the play defensively.
Willie Jackson picks up 10 yards after catching the football. Shane has to move to his right a little bit. Then he finds Willie. Look at the brakes right there. Campbell slips and falls. Willie picks up another 10 yards. He's done it all season long. After he catches the ball, additional yardage.
5 catches already today for Willie Jackson. The draw play doesn't give Rhett much running room. That's been the bread and butter running play for the Gators this year, but that time Kentucky was ready for it. Derek Thomas made the tackle for the Wildcats.
Jerry Bell, the tackle, was gaming in there and had broken free initially, but he couldn't make the tackle. Rhett was just too strong and struggled forward for a few extra yards.
Now it is second down and 9 at the 19. Florida 21, Kentucky 3 early in the second quarter. And time has been called by the Gators. 13 minutes, 1 second left in the first half. 3 touchdown passes by number 9, Shane Matthews. And they've got the Gators out to a great start against Kentucky. Make your plans now to visit the official Gator Sports Shop located in the new north end zone of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. The Gator Sports Shop is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. On football game days, the Sports Shop opens at 9 a.m. and remains open till well after the game. Flanker pass coming back to Shane Matthews.
Look at the wall of blockers ahead of him. Touchdown, Florida. Where did that come from?
Alonzo Sullivan with the touchdown throwback to the quarterback.
Sullivan was a quarterback in high school at Largo.
Was he? He's going to look initially at Terrell Jackson and pump it there, which is really what sold the play. And then look at this wall. The whole offensive line is over there,
looking for somebody to hit.
And Matthews trots into the end zone. It was the pump. Alonzo Sullivan pumped deep to Terrell Jackson, the tight end that was dragging. Kentucky bid on the pump. Then he throws back to the All-American quarterback.
And when does the sugar start to come down out of the stand?
Well, there was some sugar. That little girl right there was
well, we
about
don't
as
want
sweet
her
as
to
you
come
can
down
get.
out of the stand. We had a penalty flag thrown and then waved off, apparently. They're celebrating early in Gainesville. It's 27-3, soon to be 28. As Krzyzewski kicks through another. Alonzo Sullivan, his first touchdown pass of the year.
Watch the pump downfield to Jackson. Here's the pump. That's what sells it.
Whoops.
There's nobody over there. Look at that. I think that was for Bobby Bowden.
Well, Matthews only needed, what, a couple of touchdowns scored himself to set another record in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, he's on the verge of so many records, it's hard to keep them all straight, but I think that just got him one step closer to another.
The Gators with over 300 yards in total offense right now after another 80-yard drive.
An incredible first half. Florida just pouring it on.
Again, you know, the point, they just make it look so easy. The offensive efficiency that this team shows is just, it's almost surrealistic, you know. It's too good to be true almost.
Johnson dribbles it at the 1. And Del Spear takes him out of bounds at the 13.
That's a great job. 13-yard line.
Kentucky Wildcats only 5 first downs so far in this football game and only 90 total yards. Now there's the stat I was looking for mentally. Matthews now with 29 total touchdowns. And that breaks Babe Parilli's record. It's been standing for almost as long as you and I have been around.
Babe Parilli, 1950 Kentucky Wildcat. He's a legend in Lexington.
Great quarterback for many years with the New England Patriots. Babe Parilli. Hand off to Craig Walker. Junior out of Louisville is stopped by Carlton Miles. Kentucky has had its share of outstanding quarterbacks. A guy named George Blanda wasn't too bad. Babe Parilli, Rick Norton, played with the Miami Dolphins.
Rick Norton from my generation in the 60s when Kentucky had some great ball clubs during the 60s. Early 60s.
Second down and 7. Jones flushed out of the pocket. And he either overthrew one man or underthrew another. He had 95 Calvert up the field, and Johnson was the short man, and the pass fell in between the two of them with Will White covering. 3rd down and 7. Well, what are you thinking if you're Kentucky right now, Jim? What in the world do you do with so much time left and down 25 points and so little having been accomplished already today?
Well, you just try and think not to look at the scoreboard because it's going to horrify you when you do. On the offense, they're trailing 28-3, and they're facing the #1 defense in the conference. Just a terrible circumstance to be in. You just got to go one play at a time, do the best you can.
Quarterback draw, and looks like Jones picked up the first down to the 23-yard line. That'll keep the football in the hands of the Wildcats for a little bit longer. There's an injured player on the field.
Carlton Miles.
Florida trainers get there to check him out. Chris Patrick taking a look. One of the finest trainers in all of college athletics right there, Chris Patrick.
Pookie Jones on the run. You see Carlton Miles. He's going to get hit by Kennedy. Larry Kennedy. Oh, the cornerback. It looked like he speared him right in the hip. Chris Patrick came in with Doug Dickey in the early 70s as
got
the
a smile on his face, Jim.
Yeah. He's helping Carlton off the field. He'll be back. His earring didn't fall off anyway, so he wouldn't hit that hard.
And that's important.
Pookie Jones, let's watch his throwing motion here. On the run, on the sprint out. Really tries to put a lot of zip on the ball right there as he was sprinting out, but almost looked like a jump pass. You got to have those feet firmly planted.
Jones gets rid of it quickly, and then Clark got out of bounds in a hurry.
Eddie Robinson and Larry Kennedy on the tackle. That's a lot of production out of his last 4 games.
He's got 2 catches now this afternoon. He needs 4 more to set a new single-season record at Kentucky. He's out of the game right now. Clark. Scott Gilly checks in. Lined up wide to the left for the Wildcats. This is a handoff to number 12, Craig Walker. Walker gets the first down. Good movement on the front line for the Wildcats. And the ball is out to the 36. Walker, junior from Louisville. There's his production for the season coming into this afternoon's contest.
Once again, Kentucky having to rotate a lot of offensive backs all season long due to injuries in the backfield. They've not had one steady performer all year that they could count on out of the backfield.
Walker again, and Brad Culpepper rides him to the ground at the 41. That'll be a gain of 5 for the Wildcats and bring up 2nd and 5. It's 28-3 Florida. Shane Matthews has thrown for 3 touchdown passes this afternoon, and he's caught another from wide receiver Alonzo Sullivan.
Brad Culpepper has broken Jeff Ross' career tackle record for an interior defensive lineman. Jeff Ross had a great career here at the University of Florida as a defensive tackle. Brad Culpepper following in his footsteps and breaks Ross' record for career tackles.
Pass intended for Calvert, incomplete. Kentucky with the pursuit by Florida, trying to get the ball off very quickly. Or either that or roll out with Jones and give him some room.
Absolutely, or screen or draw. Try and break up the rhythm of that Gator defense as we look at big Brad Culpepper, who is an academic all-conference performer. William Gaines in the ball game right now, David, number 94.
3rd down and 5. The Wildcats are 1 for 4 in 3rd down conversions. Shovel pass to Walker, and he's got the first down across the 50-yard line. And Adele Spear made the tackle for the Gators secondary. And the Wildcats are in Doug Pelfrey's field goal range now. Anytime they move across the 50, he's capable of kicking one through.
Georgia used this shuttle pass last week. As you see William Gaines, the tackle, get double teamed inside. Then they kick out of the defensive end. If the ball is dropped, it's simply an incompleted pass, not a fumble. If it's caught and blocked properly, you can pick up big chunks of yardage like the Wildcats did right there.
Jones pass incomplete. His receiver fell down. Trying to make his cut to the outside. Mark Chapman. Bill Curry using a lot of players
Chapman about a fourth-team wide receiver. 9:30 left in the second quarter. Gator fans excited about what's happened so far. Their team is ahead 28-3. Again, Kentucky will work out of the shotgun. And a quarterback sneak. Jones fumbled the ball, but I think he fell back on top of it after a gain of a couple to the 42-yard line of Florida.
Oh, it looks like Harvey Thomas is down with an injury. Number 98, the defensive end. I think he was cut down upon rushing the quarterback right there. Oh, he's going to get up. He's okay.
He's going to beat the trainer back to the sidelines.
Tell Dr. Pete to get back there. Quarterback draw out of the shotgun, one step back, but Brad Culpepper refuses to be blocked, and William Gaines was up there, and Fee Bartley almost came up with a turnover as Pookie gave the ball up.
There hasn't been a turnover in this game. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Another third down opportunity. The Wildcats have converted 2 in a row on this particular drive, and make it 3 out of 3 as Johnson has the football down to the 25-yard line. Or rather, Neil Clark, the receiver. That's his third catch. So Clark now just needs 3 to set the new Kentucky record.
Neil Clark just ran a quick hitch along the left side right there, and then cut back against the grain, against the flow of the defense, caught the ball short, hit the seam behind the linebackers, and picked up another Wildcat first down.
Unbalanced line for the Wildcats. And the handoff to Craig Walker. Walker is smothered at the 23-yard line. Hit first by Bill Gunner, number 93 for the Florida Gators.
David, as we look at this score and you see Kentucky with 3 points, one of the things that's been so impressive about this Gator defense is that they refuse to give up the touchdown to the opponent. Not many touchdowns scored against this Gator defense, certainly by Southeastern Conference opponents.
The crowd in the north end zone making a ruckus. Jones throws, and it is almost intercepted, then almost caught, and then almost intercepted again.
It was Timmy Paulk, the inside linebacker, that got his hands on it. Look at the top right of your screen. You'll see number 99. He's got a bead on the quarterback's eyes. It goes right through his hands. It almost broke his fingers. I thought perhaps it was high, and he leaped for it. You know, he could have caught that ball if he was Superman, I guess.
Kentucky has converted 3 consecutive third downs. This is a 3rd and 6. Hand off to Walker. Walker breaks it and picks up what appears to be another Kentucky first down. Will White may have saved a touchdown. Walker was getting ahead of steam up as he crossed the 20-yard line.
Boy, he sure did. A couple of arm tackles slowed him down momentarily. Mickle, I believe, had an arm on him, and he broke a couple of tackles and picked up the first down. Greg Walker, once again, rotating running backs out of that Kentucky offense.
Well, if nothing else, Kentucky has at least kept the football on this possession and kept it out of Florida's hands. Gators have been unstoppable when they've had it. Tony McCoy. Been a little quiet so far this afternoon until that play. Now Tony's getting into the act. Senior from Orlando.
Barry Rich, number 55, the offensive left guard, just gets beat so quickly by McCoy, who used his leverage and speed to get around him and make the sack and then prance for the crowd. That means you got a lot of energy, you know? Albert cheering along the sideline.
That's 2nd and 19. Gator moved across the line, Falk, but got back, and Culpepper puts a big shoulder into the ball carrier, knocks him down on a shovel pass to Walker.
Well, it worked to the left, but it didn't work to the right there, as we see Brad Culpepper with his strength and speed just destroy the play in the backfield. We saw McCoy, the tackle on the prior play, and now we see the other defensive tackle, Brad Culpepper. That's really the strength of this Gator defense, right up the gut, these big senior defensive tackles.
Solid. Kentucky has converted 4 consecutive third downs. This is 3rd and 22. Jones running for his life, ran smack right head on into Fee Bartley at the 21. Something's got to give there, and it's probably not going to be Bartley.
Oh, you see a number of guys getting up rather slowly there after the power of that collision took its toll on a number of players on the field. Just you don't want your quarterback out there taking hits like that, but Pookie was trying to get whatever he could out of it and took a beating for it.
This will be a 37, 38-yard attempt for Pelfrey. That's a sand wedge for him.
Yeah, nothing to it, as he's 3 of 4 from that distance for the season.
9 out of 12 for the season. He's already got one from 53 this afternoon. And they fake it. Shouldn't be a big surprise. Samuels is there, but didn't pull it in. Looks like he pulled his arms back. He got a case of alligator arms just as the ball arrived. Del Spear was covering. Samuels looked like he pulled his arms back in.
I don't know if Del Spear gets his hand on it or not. The play is executed beautifully. The throwback to the big fullback Samuels. I couldn't see if the ball was tipped or not. Del Spear was glad he was dropped, however.
The man who held for the kick, Travis Powers, threw a pretty good pass down in there. But Spear must have broken it up. So much for that Kentucky threat.
Once again, David, that Gator defense keeps the opponent out of the end zone.
Matthews back to throw again. Eric Rett makes the catch and is hit right when he gets the football by Larry Jackson at the 24-yard line.
Here's the throwback to Samuels. Let's see if the ball gets tipped. Yes, he did tip it. He did tip it. Samuels couldn't catch the ball because the spiral was broken as it got to him by Spear, the defensive back. He did the job.
On 2nd down, Sullivan didn't come up with it. The official in good position to make the call. And that was a good call.
You know, Eric Rett's limping around on the field, and Willie McClendon is yet to come on. They've really not used Willie the last couple of weeks. They've gone to multiple receivers instead of Willie McClendon. Well, actually, he's coming on the field right now. There's Willie. We were looking for him last week in his hometown of Jacksonville, but he played very little as he had been substituting rather regularly with Eric Rett all season long.
3rd down and 7. Matthews feels pressure for the first time, and he goes down, and the ball came out.
Yeah, he tried to flip it back, and he might have given it up.
Yeah, he did. Kentucky recovers the fumble. Matthews was not touched last week in Jacksonville against Georgia. He's been sacked, what, just 12 times? There have only been 12 sacks all year long.
Well, I think he's been untouched this afternoon, too, until
Joey Couch
got to him there.
Couch, an excellent defensive player, and he got the football. So the Wildcats have it. We'll be right back from Florida Field. We're getting late in the 2nd quarter. First turnover of the afternoon by either team gives Kentucky the football at the Florida 19-yard line. Let's see if the Cats can take advantage. Samuels, the handoff and a couple of tough yards, trying to run inside against Florida. Is about as tough as it gets. Culpepper and Kevin Carter were there to make the tackle on big Terry Samuels, a 6'2", 240-pound fullback.
Carter, number 57, seeing some action at defensive end. There you see the attempt to go back to Willie McClendon. Shane Matthews saw that number 5, saw that blue jersey, thought for a moment he'd flip it back and save the sack, but instead he gave up the turnover.
The option. Jones keeps it, and Bill Gunner and Tony McCoy get him trapped in the backfield. May have fought his way for a yard to around the 15.
Kevin Carter from the backside as well. There you see Bill Gunner, 93, the junior defensive end. On the other side was Carter. Giving some rest to Darren Mickle and Harvey Thomas, who was hurt a little bit earlier.
Single coverage, and the ball is caught by Clark at the 6-yard line.
Yeah, that was
quick slant. Kennedy had him well covered, but Clark, a good catch.
Yeah, Kennedy was all by himself because the Gators did blitz. They tried to put heat on Pookie right there with the blitz, but that gave man-for-man coverage to Clark, and Kennedy just could not get there because the ball was thrown so well.
That's the 4th catch of the afternoon for Neil Clark. 2 shy of the school record for receptions in a season. Gators have added one more quarter to that graphic you just saw today. There's a fumble. I think Pookie Jones swallowed it when Culpepper fell on him.
That was an unbalanced line to the left again, and they were going to run that option they had success with on the first play of the ball game. They were going to run it to the wide side, but he never had a chance because Culpepper exploded through. Look at the right tackle. Beat the block where he's supposed to get cut from behind. He was actually slanting to the wide side of the field and was on Pookie's back before he could even get out into the option. The slant really helped Culpepper there. It was a good call by defensive coordinator Ron Zook, obviously.
Now the Wildcats will use a timeout. They've got one left here in the second quarter. So Kentucky is inside the Florida 10-yard line, but Florida still is in command of this football game with 1:19 left in the second quarter. .30, the Los Angeles Kings and San Jose Sharks. And then Wednesday, 7:30, the Capitals Washington and the New Jersey Devils, only on Sports Channel, home of the NHL. Check local listings for availability in your area.
One of these days, I'm going to figure out what offsides is in the NHL.
When you get a chance, we'll explain it to you. I'm not sure I understand either. Sugar Bowl bound, Florida Gators, are they? Well, looks that way. He's ready to go. So are a lot of other Gator fans, I promise you. Jones fumbled the football, and it's kicked around, and the Gators' Tony McCoy is on top of it at the 15.
All right, Tony.
There's a souvenir. McCoy going to take that one with him.
Once again, the Gator defense refuses to give up the touchdown. This time, a lot of help from Kentucky as Pookie Jones drops the ball after the exchange, and McCoy fights his way through to come up with the recovery.
The only competition he had for the loose ball was his teammate, Darren Mickle, who wanted to grab it just as badly.
Yeah, they were fighting for it. That's typical defensive linemen. They'll fight each other if they have a chance.
1:14 left in the second quarter. Here's the screen pass set up beautifully to Eric Rhett. Rhett met by Reggie Smith, the linebacker, but that's good for a Florida first down out to the 26-yard line. 1 minute left in the quarter.
What was so impressive right there is Rhett got hit about 3 yards short of the first down marker and then just carried about 3 Kentucky Wildcats with him to pick up the first down. A lot of power in those legs of the Gator tailback.
And you talk about Rhett's rushing ability, and he is an outstanding rusher with well over 800 yards this year. He's also one of the league's top receivers. What a pass to Sullivan. Sullivan is out to the 41. 47 seconds left in the quarter.
Which with this Gator offense is a lot of time, right? Alonzo Sullivan, the senior who came up with his First touchdown catch of his career this season. Hard to believe that, but
Monty Duncan, look out. Kentucky's got it. The Wildcats pick it off. Don Robinson. Robinson brings it back to the 47-yard line. Duncan really got racked up. Pass was thrown high back in the middle of the Kentucky secondary, and Robinson playing center field back there caught the deflection.
Now Melvin Johnson on coverage. One of the few times the ball has been thrown high. Monty Duncan really hung out to dry there, literally.
You get the feeling
pops up in the air.
Jim Monty didn't really want to reach up to grab that one.
He might have been thinking about it. He did try with one hand rather than two.
Boy, you just leave yourself so vulnerable coming over the middle of the field like that. 28 seconds left in the quarter. The Gators turn the ball over for the second time in the first half. And the pass is caught by Terry Samuels. Tries to juke past Ed Robinson. Robinson hangs with him and makes the tackle at the 43-yard line with 15 seconds left in the first half. And Kentucky is going to use its final timeout.
Gators have multiple defensive backs on the field right now to prevent the big play, the big bomb, keep Kentucky out of the end zone in this first half. That's what they're thinking about right now. Coach Curry on the sideline talking to his young freshman quarterback. He's a former offensive center. Look how thin he is. He looks like a former wide receiver. Bill Curry had a great career at Georgia Tech as a collegian. He's a contemporary of Coach Steve Spurrier. They were contemporaries in the NFL with Coach Curry at Baltimore and Green Bay. A fine center during his NFL career. Lost a lot of weight after he retired. Got into coaching at his alma mater, Georgia Tech, and now doing a fine job at Kentucky.
Now, he had a lot of, about 8-9 years in the NFL. Look at this graphic. The Gators have been putting Gator defense has been putting points on the board.
Just keep taking the ball away from the opponent time after time. Fumbles and interceptions. A very aggressive attacking defense.
And a fumble recovery that led to a score again today. What a nice catch. Beautiful catch by Hobbs, who was from Miami out of Southridge High School.
The clock will be stopped as they move the chains.
Now the official ready to get that clock working again. Kentucky field goal doesn't mean a whole lot to them, down 28-3. Jones grounds the football with 7 seconds left in the first half.
But I think realistically that's what they're looking to do, is get the field goal, or maybe give it one shot into the end zone with a Hail Mary type of pass, which on occasion does work. Looks like that's what they're going to try.
They send Neal out to the left along with Calvert. 7 seconds left. Jones will take a crack at, no, he doesn't throw it for the end zone. He throws it short. Samuels wasn't in bounds.
Yeah, he stepped out before he had possession of the ball. In his urgency to get out of bounds, he stepped out before he really had possession, it looked like. He can't believe it. He knows he's got to get out of bounds immediately along the sideline. He catches the ball and then steps out of bounds.
Well, they faked one. He's kicked one. And he missed one, and they had a penalty on the Gators. And then went for it on fourth down. This time they kick it. And Pelfrey drills it through. That is a 40-yard field goal for Doug Pelfrey. And it is also the final play of the second quarter. The Wildcats score the Pelfrey field goal as time winds down. But it's all Florida here in the first half. The Gators 28, Kentucky 6. We'll be back here on Sports Channel. Florida Gators will kick off to Kentucky to start the third period. The Gators jumped out to that 28-6 halftime lead. Looking to go undefeated and become the first Southeastern Conference team to go undefeated in the Southeastern Conference standings since Auburn in 1983.
We talked about Bill Curry talking to his team before the ball game, trying to inspire them for an effort this afternoon. You can imagine the difficulty he had addressing the young men at halftime as they trailed 28-6. But all they can do is all they can do. They just have to get out there and play one play at a time and try to do the best job they can and get back in it if at all possible.
Krzyzewski kicks it away. This will be Kurt Johnson, 2 yards deep. Had a notion to stay back. And picks up an extra yard as opposed to if he had stayed back in there. The ball's at the 21. Here's how the scoring went for the Gators. An 8-yard pass. Matthews to Hill gets them up top 7-0. Matthews' first touchdown pass to Everett. It's 14-0. And then later in the period, Pelfrey kicks the 52-yard field goal to cut the lead to 14-3. Still in the first quarter, Matthews again to Trey Everett, 21-3 Gators. Then in the second period, the flanker pass back to the quarterback Matthews for the 4th Gator touchdown, and then Kentucky kicks a late field goal, 28-6, the halftime score. Rudolph, the ball carrier, and Rudolph is down near the line of scrimmage. Let's go down to the sidelines and Steve Babick.
Thanks, David. I'm with Chris Collinsworth, former Gator, who was inducted into the Florida Athletic Hall of Fame earlier this spring, and all the inductees from this past year honored at halftime. And Chris, good to see you back in Gatorland.
It feels good. I never knew it was so easy to win the Southeastern Conference Championship. This is unbelievable the way these guys are playing.
You must really enjoy watching this type of offense with Steve Spurrier and all the passing. Being a former receiver, you got to appreciate that.
Steve's exciting. He was an offensive coordinator back in 1979 with us. I like the double reverse back to the quarterback. That's vintage Spurrier.
It's good to see you back, and I know that you're working in radio and TV now, but also when you were at school here, you always had thoughts about finishing your law degree, and I know that's on your mind right now too, isn't it?
Well, I just finished, finally, 5 years it took me to finish my law degree. Going to take the bar exam in February, so maybe I can dispel the old dumb jock theory. Although I've got to tell you, there were a couple classes where it fit right in.
Chris, good to see you here. I know that the one line that people love to use, once a Gator, always a Gator, and I know you've got a lot of warm feeling in your heart for this place.
Well, I'm just glad I get a chance to be a part of this SEC championship. Just to be here and to congratulate everybody, to see Steve again. It can't be any more exciting than this.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
You bet.
Chris Collinsworth visiting here on the sideline. Let's go back up to David and Jim.
Chris Collinsworth, a great wide receiver, and there's a record-setting performance by Kurt Johnson for the University of Kentucky this afternoon. But when you talk about Collinsworth, you have to put him right up there with the Wes Chandlers, the Carlos Alvarez, the Ricky Natils, that class of receiver at the University of Florida. And there have been a lot of great ones that have worn the orange and blue, and certainly Collinsworth is one of them.
Oh, I agree. I don't think there's anyone greater with that combination of the hands and the speed and the height. He was just, and the intelligence. Chris Collinsworth was just a fantastic performer for the Gators and at Cincinnati as well with the Bengals.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Captain Curry has watched his team suffer back-to-back 5-yard penalties, a false start, and a delay of game. So now it's 2nd and 19. Jones rifles it over the middle, and the ball is caught by Clark. Somehow he held on to the football despite the lick laid on him by Fee Bartley.
Neil Clark continues to be the #1 receiver that the Kentucky Wildcats feature, but he pays the price as he drags across the middle, and there's Fee Bartley, the Gator back. Strong safety making the hit, and there you see Clark, the wide receiver, catching his breath along the sideline.
He's got 5 receptions now, one short of Felix Wilson's single-season record at Kentucky. Samuels is the ball carrier on 3rd down, and Darren Mickle wraps him up short of the first down marker. Kentucky will have to punt the football away on its first possession of the 3rd quarter.
That was a rather strange call on 3rd and long. Kentucky choosing to be conservative.
They pulled out all the stops in the first half, but a little conservative on that 3rd down play. Bill Hawk gets off a nice high spiral kick that Duncan waits for. Campbell had a shot at him but didn't get it. And then Monty falls down. I think they'll blow it dead. The ball squirted out of there, but Duncan was already on the turf at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, once that knee goes down, all else ceases to be relevant. Once the knee goes down, it's all over.
That was a 43-yard kick by Hawk and a 5-yard return by Duncan. The Gators haven't used their punter yet this afternoon. Shane Edge is
yeah, that's
rested
true,
comfortably on the sideline.
He'll not even take a shower after this thing.
Eric Rhett. Rhett rambles to the 41. A gain of 7 on first down. Do you think that Steve Spurrier might put it on the ground a little bit more with the comfortable lead here in the second half?
Well, I think so, and they have the ability to run the ball. As we mentioned, the Gators are really almost exactly 50-50 in terms of quantity of passes versus quantity of runs this season. They're just tremendous balance, although it's the passing game, the fun and gun offense that gets so much publicity.
Keep it on the ground again with Rhett. Rhett ran into the middle linebacker, Marty Moore. Moore managed a couple of more yards.
Moore with more tackles as we look at Edge warming up. At least he's going to warm up. He's thinking, well, I might get a chance. I better not get too comfortable over here.
Defensive coordinator Ron Zook. As we've mentioned already, Florida's defense has gotten better every week. And if you're a coach, that's what you look for, isn't it, Jim?
Oh, absolutely. Number 1 currently in the Southeastern Conference in total defense.
Eric Rhett found a crack and gets the first down to the 50-yard line. Don Robinson credited with the tackle for Kentucky. Rhett 9 carries and 45 yards this afternoon.
Coach Spurrier would be very happy to get Eric Rhett as starting tailback 100 yards rushing the football, and he gets those kind of blocks from Dexter McNabb and his big guys up front. It's going to happen.
The play action.
Whoa.
Nice stop by Robinson. He really laid a lick on Harrison Houston, but Houston held on to the ball at the 43-yard line of the Wildcats.
Billy Campbell, the rover, initially in coverage right there, but it was Big Don Robinson. He plays the hit position, H-I-T, and he delivered the hit on this play on Houston. This is somewhat of a bootleg throwback to Houston.
That play was good for 6 yards. Hand off to the fullback, McNabb, and McNabb fights his way for another Florida first down to the Kentucky 35.
I think possibly his first carry of the afternoon. Dexter McNabb not used that often as a ball carrier, although in the second half against Georgia last week he was used rather extensively, and maybe that's the plan of action the coach has for the second half here this afternoon.
Well, the play selection coming into today's game had been, as you mentioned, almost 50-50. Not so this afternoon against Kentucky.
One reason is because they couldn't stop the pass. Obviously, they kept going with it. If they can't stop you, keep going with it. But looks like they're going back to the run in the second half.
The play action, Jackson open, makes the catch, ducks underneath the Kentucky defender, and drives to the 11-yard line. Barney Moore,
I think it was Smith. Let's see the inside linebacker who misses the tackle initially. Willie Jackson's so difficult to stop after he catches the ball. That was one of the defensive backs that just simply dove right over the top of Jackson.
Eric Rhett to the 8. Moore again on the tackle for Kentucky.
Generally, the Gators, when they get inside the 20, they put points on the board, and more often than not, it's via the passing game when they get into the end zone as versus rushing touchdowns.
Another 300-yard game for Shane Matthews. He already holds the school record. That's his 10th 300-yard passing game this afternoon.
I wonder how
That's
many
a conference record also.
300-yard halves he's had, but Alonzo Sullivan got a little bit of those yards, didn't he, in the first half?
Yep.
Oh!
Not a good pass that time, and Campbell has the interception at the 4-yard line.
That was a late hit on Shane Matthews.
And the offensive lineman looking after the quarterback, going after the Kentucky individual who put the late hit on Shane.
I tell you what, Jerry Bell really took a cheap shot at Shane Matthews, who had poorly thrown the football into the end zone, but he was kind of standing idly by when he got unloaded on.
Was it 99 Betts or was it 98 Bell?
I think it was Bell, number 98. Let's look at the interception. There's Bell in the backfield. There's the interception in the end zone. He would have been. Why are they marking the ball at the 20-yard line?
People on the line of scrimmage. The penalty is declined. After the play is over, dead ball foul against the defense. 15 yards added on the end.
So the Gator penalty is declined by Kentucky. And a dead ball foul against the Wildcats. Or was the dead ball foul against the Gators?
They're calling it against the Gators, but it was a reaction by White, the offensive tackle, after he saw his quarterback Matthews get hit.
Classic case of seeing only the retaliation.
That's right. It's the retaliation that got the penalty.
Well, let's see how fired up the Florida defense is on this sequence after that little turn of events. Crowd's not too happy about the call. And a pass caught by Rudolph. Good receiver out of the backfield. And he's out to the 24-yard line. A play that picks up 5 for the Wildcats. Ryan Hockman is the new quarterback for Kentucky. They've had a revolving door when it comes to the quarterback position this year. And Hockman has been one who sporadically has been successful. And I guess you could say that about all of them. Brad Smith, who is from Lakeland, Florida, Hockman and Pookie Jones have all had their moments in the sun. Off to Samuels, and Samuels has the first down out to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, Coach Bill Curry refers to Hockman as his top reliever, coming out of the bullpen in essence, using baseball lingo to try and jazz the offense up a little bit. Earlier in the season, he had success, I believe, against Cincinnati as he led the team to victory late in that ball game. But he can throw the ball. He's been one of those guys that had the chance to be the captain of this offensive unit.
Hockman throws, and the pass complete to Tim Calvert, and Calvert is out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Hockman came in against Cincinnati and rallied the Wildcats from a 14-0 deficit. And against Georgia, he came off the bench and completed 9 of 16 passes and 137 yards, including a 52-yard touchdown pass to Clyde Rudolph.
He's got a difficult task right now, though, to get Kentucky back into this ball game.
The junior out of Harrison, Ohio, has 2nd down and 1. Samuel gets the handoff, and the Gators get Samuels and knock him back to the 35. Tackle Brad Culpepper was there first.
William Gaines, also big number 94, in for Tony McCoy. You see Gaines fighting off the block there, and there's Culpepper, who made the hit behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. Another tackle for a loss for Brad Culpepper.
The single season record held by Trace Armstrong, and now's a fine defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears. That's tackles for loss in a season. Walker looking for the first down, and he won't find enough running room. Gators closed in on him. Culpepper again led the charge. Darren Mickle was also there with Tim Pauk at the bottom of the stack.
Yeah, David, again, domination at the line of scrimmage. It was Brad Culpepper again with help from William Gaines, but 2 consecutive great plays by big, strong defensive tackle Brad Culpepper shut down that Kentucky offensive effort.
Bill Hawk is the punter. Monty Duncan lets it hit, and it takes a Kentucky bounce and is down at about the 28-yard line. We've had no scoring in the third quarter, so the Gators lead is still a 22-point margin as we move toward the end of period number 3 here at Florida Field. We'll be back. Florida first down. They spot the ball at the 30-yard line, and the handoff to Rhett. Linebacker Moore hits him right at the line of scrimmage.
What's really difficult right now, David, is for the Gator offense to keep their intensity level up to a high degree with such a big lead and dominating so much in the first half, but they got to get their act back together on offense.
The nationally ranked Gator volleyball team returns home for a couple of exciting home matches. Gators against Alabama, November 17th, 2 o'clock in the O-Dome. Gators against Florida State, November 19th, 7:30 in the O'Connell Center with tape-delayed coverage on Sports Channel. Check local listings for times and availability in your area. Pass intended for the tight end, George Rushing, and Rushing can't hold on to the football. That'll bring up a third down and about 9. And a big lick put on Matthews again, that time by nose guard Joey Couch, the tail end of the play.
Yeah, he's been roughed up a little bit in the third quarter here by the Kentucky defense. First half, he was hardly touched at all.
Couch considered to be the best defensive player overall on the Kentucky defensive unit. Florida looking at 3rd and 9. Good protection this time for Shane. And the pass is not complete, and Duncan didn't have a first down anyhow, I don't think. Good coverage by Kentucky. They had a lot of folks around the football, and the Gators will have to punt the ball for the first time today.
Yeah, the Gators were 4 of 5 on third down conversions. That's one reason Shane Edge hadn't been in the ballgame. But here he comes.
Freshman from Lake City, ranks 1st in the Southeastern Conference, 2nd in all of college football in net punting.
The punter, he belongs to the defense. He's the guy that can control field position.
Kentucky's got all 10 men lined up, and they're coming hard. And they just ate it. Kentucky blocks the kick easily. And it is picked up by Larry Jackson. The Wildcats have the football inside the 5. They just came streaming through there.
Well, that unit obviously a little rusty, but they simply poured in on Edge right there. A complete breakdown at the line of scrimmage. Let's see if we can see what happens. The right guard failed to make the block right there. Shane Edge really had no chance at all, as it was number 33, Willie Cannon on the block.
Blocked it with his left hip. Penalty flag down. Hockman tries to spin to his left. Tripped up as he crosses the line of scrimmage. He'll spot his progress at about the 1.5 or 2. Well, let's see what the flag is. Kentucky players pointing toward the Florida side of the field.
Myrick Anderson down with an injury as well, as he's limping in the end zone right now.
Defense lined up in the neutral zone, half the distance, repeat first down.
Now again, you just can't line up in that neutral zone. You have to be aware of where the football is. You want to crowd that football as much as possible, especially when your back's to your own end zone, but you can't get in the neutral zone before the ball's snapped. And Myrick Anderson was shaken up on that play as well. That's a double whammy.
That spots the ball at the 2. Florida 28, Kentucky 6. There has been no scoring in the third quarter. But Kentucky is sitting right on the doorstep. Hockman rolls out, or tries to anyhow, but McCoy hits him right at the line.
This Gator defense just refuses to let the opponent in the end zone. And that time it was Gaines and McCoy, as you mentioned, big Tony McCoy. 23 straight quarters, the Gators have not allowed a rushing touchdown. That's an outstanding effort.
That's over 5 full games. Kentucky, they're going to try to pound it in, it looks like. They got no wide receivers and a wishbone backfield behind Hockman. Walker denied the goal line, and the ball looked like it might have slipped out, but he held on. Ed Robinson, I think, hit the helmet right on it.
Whoever it was a crushing collision at the goal line. Let's see who we can pick up. Is it B. Bartley or Eddie Robinson? It's
Both
Eddie Robinson and B. Bartley.
Yep.
Both of them together formed that blue wall, not allowing Kentucky into the end zone. There's big Eddie Robinson at inside linebacker. Sometimes one of the overlooked defensive players on the Gator team.
This is 3rd down. Hockman tries to keep it and does for the touchdown. Pookie back in there. Pookie Jones with the touchdown. Right over the top, right over his center. Matt Branham.
Yeah, when they went to the wishbone, they brought Pookie back in to run the attack because he's the better runner. Hockman's perhaps the better passer, as you look at Bill Curry, who says, finally we get in the end zone. We get something done on offense.
They're going to kick the extra point rather than go for 2. It's 28-12 now. And Pelfrey for the extra point. The kick is good, and the Wildcats score the first points of the second half. Florida's lead 28-13 now with 3:12 left in the 3rd quarter. At 7:30 p.m. at the Miami Arena, only on Sports Channel, home of the Heat. Check local listings for availability in your area.
You know, David, the Gators against Georgia last week in Jacksonville had a similar lull in the 3rd quarter. Georgia had the upper hand on the Gators in the 3rd quarter at Jacksonville, but then the Gators just crushed them in the 4th quarter. Maybe they'll put it in gear here this afternoon as well.
Kentucky used 4 plays to move 3 yards.
After the block punt.
After the block punt that set it up. Pelfrey kicks it away. Kennedy and Houston wait. One hopper that's juggled. Now Kennedy has it. Kennedy got a block from Houston and brings it out to the 22-yard line. We are late in the 3rd quarter. The Gators have been held scoreless. They broke out to a big lead early, 28-3. Kentucky added a field goal late in the 2nd quarter. Shane Matthews has thrown for 3 touchdowns and caught another on a flanker pass back to the quarterback. McNabb and Rhett are the running backs. And the pass is overthrown, intended for Willie Jackson.
Matthews mad at himself as he's overthrown his receiver, and rarely does that happen as we take a look at Coach Steve Spurrier signaling in another play. He's trying to get the right personnel on the field. In comes Alonzo Sullivan.
Matthews has not completed a pass in the 2nd half. He's 0 for 4 with an interception after going 20 for 28 in the 1st half. Kentucky's gotten a little more pressure on him here in the 3rd quarter, too. That one's complete to Alonzo Sullivan. And good for a Florida 1st down out to the 42-yard line. Melvin Johnson on the coverage.
Well, and Kentucky again was trying to pressure with additional defenders rushing Matthews, but both backs, or at least McNabb, was kept in and did a nice job of picking up the additional rusher. There's Alonzo Sullivan, almost breaks loose on the pirouette. Eric Rhett, a big hole. Look at him go through it.
all the way to the Kentucky 35-yard line. Larry Jackson perhaps saved a touchdown, a 27-yard run for Eric Rett.
Oh, I know he's wishing he had that opportunity again, because he's wide open in the open field, makes one little juke, but runs into another Kentucky defender, Willie Cannon.
Yeah, 33 that made the tackle.
Can outfake everybody out there.
Again, Rett carries. And stood up by Deuce Williams. Eric carrying Williams with him for a few yards. Down to about the 28.
You know what Deuce's number is?
And it's not 2.
That's right. Why not? He's number 3. Deuce is number 3. That's a heck of a first name. he must have been the second of 2 sons. What do you think?
What they call the first? Uno?
A surprise? I don't know.
Sophomore from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania.
How sweet it is. Winners tell jokes and losers say deal, right?
Right. Deuce checks out. And Travis Powers checks in at the rover position. Matthews lines him up at the 29 with 1:37 left in the third quarter. Rett looking for the first down stick. And he might have it. Needed to get to the 25, just on the other side of the 25, the Kentucky side. Looks like he'll be a few inches short. Damon Betts, number 99, the nose guard, made the tackle for Kentucky.
Usually when they're inches short, the favorite play is the quarterback sneak. It has been on a number of occasions while Coach Spurrier's been running this offense the last 2 years. Let's see what Matthews does. To the tailback.
Give it off to Rett. Let Rett take it for the first down to the 21-yard line. This drive grinding up the clock, protecting a 15-point lead. Thinking about this football game today, I had overwhelming memories of 1984, Florida, Kentucky, and Lexington, which was just a great football game.
Went right down to the wire.
Cold, cloudy afternoon in Lexington. The Gators, at that time, did not know they would be on probation and would be denied the SEC title. Rett carrying the football, and Kentucky recovered a fumble at the 15. I thought perhaps he was down.
Oh,
but the referees give it to UK. That'll turn it over, and with 22 seconds left in the third period, the Wildcats. We are late in the third quarter. Kentucky has taken over on the Florida fumble. Jones is back in there at quarterback. And Rudolph, the ball carrier, carries it out to the 19, a gain of about 4. Let's take a look at the Eric Rett fumble and see if we can gauge whether or not his knee was down.
Yeah, the key is, does the knee go down before he gives up the ball? He's fighting. It's a fumble. It was close. He was just fighting for additional yardage, had the ball out loosely, was hit from behind just the moment before his knee went down, but it was a turnover.
That is the end of the third quarter. The Gators now have 4 turnovers, and that doesn't count the blocked punt. So we go to the fourth period with Florida still leading Kentucky 28-13 here at Florida Field. The Sugar Bowl is in the offing if they can hold them off for 15 more minutes. The broadcast rights to today's telecast have been granted to Sports Channel Florida by the University of Florida solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is prohibited.
Well, that last turnover can really give this Kentucky team a lift. Get some life back in their offense if they can get anything going right now.
The bootleg to the weak side for Jones, and Jones is stopped at the 20. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Game notes with the Gators leading as we go to the 4th period. Shane Matthews, 3 touchdowns throwing, 1 touchdown receiving, setting the SEC record for total touchdowns in a season. Kentucky's Doug Pelfrey shows off his strong leg with a 52-yard kick, and Kentucky scored on a little 3-yard drive after blocking a Florida punt. That's tightened things up considerably here, but still the Gators have a comfortable cushion, although Kentucky with another score could make things very interesting. Jones throws the ball with Mickle in his face, and the pass is incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Literally, he was in his face literally as he clubbed him in the face mask. It wasn't a cheap shot. He was just trying to put pressure and sack the quarterback. Watch Mickle from the right side club Pookie in the face, and just breaks up the pass completely. The Gator defense hangs in there, forcing the Wildcats to punt away after they had gotten the turnover.
Now the Gators put 10 up on the line. And here's the fake and the pass to Neal. A penalty flag goes down as well, and they've got the 1st down, Kentucky to the 26. There's a man down.
Roughing the passer, they're calling it.
Yep. Bill Hawk, the punter, threw the pass. And he was apparently hit too hard after the play. The penalty going to go against the Gators. Roughing the passer.
On the defense, 15 yards, back on to the end, 1st down.
So Kentucky got the 1st down and then 15 more yards on top of it. Wildcats again down by 15, but another touchdown here, and this thing gets real tight.
Well, the punter can be hit at any time. He acts as a ball carrier, and that time he did in fact throw the ball. He could be hit, but they said he was hit late.
14 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in this football game. That reception by Clark was his 6th. And that ties the school record for most receptions in a year for Neil Clark. Jones has a lot of running room out there on the left side, and Spear runs him out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Kentucky picks up another 1st down.
Well, Timmy Polk, the inside linebacker, got caught way inside. He was responsible for scraping out, I believe, and containing that side of the field, but there was no containment there as the double team was made on the defensive end on the sprint out, and Pookie had all kinds of real estate to pick up.
You can just feel the confidence building on the Kentucky sideline. The Wildcats have taken advantage of Florida mistakes, and they're trying to get back in it. Jones sets up the screen, and Rudolph has great speed and carries the ball all the way to the 28-yard line. Carlton Miles made the tackle for the Gators, but Kentucky is marching after recovering the Gator fumble.
Myrick Anderson gets cut down in the open field as you see Jones dump the ball off on the screen. There's McCoy being invited inside. Myrick Anderson was knocked down, and Kentucky does a great job of executing the screen, and they're really pressing the Gator defense right now.
Two receivers out to the right, one to the left for the Wildcats. Jones rolling away from pressure. Tripped up by Kennedy at the 20.
Gators really having trouble on the corner as they double team one corner or the other, that time the wide side of the field. Let's see what the flag is going to be called. There is a flag on the field.
Looked like the officials were counting bodies on the Kentucky side. I think they had either too many or not enough. Maybe they had too many lined up out there. Kentucky has been marching on this drive And they've used a mixture of the run and the pass. Kentucky's moving back. Let's get the official call on the penalty.
Illegal participation, 12 people on the field for the offense, 15 from the previous spot, still be first down.
When we talk about getting on the corner, you see the double team of the defensive end right there. Pookie does get outside, but fortunately for the Gators, Kentucky had a 12th man on the field, and that's going to be
15 yards from the line. So they had a 7-yard gain. 7-yard gain minus 15. 22-yard swing there and loss of down.
It's going to be second down, not first down. The officials trying to get the chain gang to change the down.
The new record setting performance by Mr. Clark. Broke the old mark set by Felix Wilson of Kentucky in 1978.
No, they're not going to lose the down after all.
So it is first down and 25. Ball on the Florida 42-yard line. Handed off to Walker, and he's got some running room. Carlton Miles drags him down at the 36. That's a gain of about 7.
First and long, and Kentucky crosses the Gator defense up with a quick hitting play at the interior.
Well, you have to admire the Wildcats' fight in this game, because they were dead at halftime, down 28-6. Perhaps the late field goal gave them a little momentum going to the locker room, and they've played with tremendous desire in the third and early into the fourth. Wilson, and it is caught by Clark at the 19-yard line. Still not enough for a first down, but a 17-yard play.
Harvey Thomas does a great job of fighting outside, trying to avoid that double team we were talking about. He gets in Pookie's face, but he lofts the ball up so Clark can make the leaping catch along the sideline as Will White knocks him out of bounds. But Kentucky just doing an excellent job on offense in this second half, especially on this drive right here.
Wildcats have a third down, and they need about 1. And Samuels gets the first down for Kentucky. His progress spotted at about the 17.
A lot of time left in this ball game as a lot of anxious Gator fans sitting on the edge of their seats right now with over 12 minutes to go. If Kentucky can knock this one in, it gets scary.
Reminiscent of 1984. When the Wildcats took the Gators right down to the wire in Lexington. Before Adrian White stepped in front of a Wildcat receiver and intercepted a pass to lock up the Gator victory. Walker runs into Pauk, and then 5 or 6 other blue shirts get there to finish off the play at about the 15.
Kentucky continues to run on first down and then come back with that shotgun where Pookie Jones has an opportunity to look over the defense and roll out left or right and get a little bit more time before he decides to get the ball downfield.
$11 minutes and 11 seconds left in the fourth period. Jones rolling to his left. And he steps out of bounds inside the 10. They'll spot him at the 8.5.
Once again, it was a double team that allowed Pookie Jones out of the shotgun to get outside of containment. They double team the end. And once they get around that corner, there's all kinds of pressure on the defense to come up and force the quarterback out of bounds. But if you come up, he might dump it over your head with a pass.
Another third down, big third down for Kentucky. They need a short one. Jones keeps, has the first down, and lots more, like 6 points more. Suddenly, it's a 28-19 football game. After a blocked punt, a quick Kentucky touchdown, a fumble by the Gators, a long Kentucky drive. We've got a good football game, a tight one here at Florida Field.
A double team on William Gaines, and then the lead block by the fullback allows Pookie Jones to literally walk into the end zone. One of the few rushing touchdowns the Gator defense has given up all year long. Kentucky doing a great job with that option attack on that occasion.
Wildcats will go for 2 this time. Down by 9 with 10:50 left. Jones has 2 receivers stacked on the right side. Now one of them, Johnson, moves in motion. And the ball is batted down by Bartley at the goal line. Intended for Walker, but Bartley stripped it away, and it'll remain a 9-point game.
Kentucky more than 1 touchdown away from threatening to win this ball game right now.
Well, the Gators lead, which was 28-6 at the half, now a tenuous 9-point advantage.
Would have been a gigantic conversion for Kentucky right here if they'd gotten the 2 points. Trying to go on the rollout. Pookie can't find anyone. Harvey Thomas in his face. Finally, Fee Bartley there to break the ball up. That was a big play by the Gator defense as they shut down the 2-point opportunity.
Certainly was a big play. But now Kentucky needs 2 scores to catch them. Pelfrey kicks it away. Kennedy and Houston waiting. It'll be Larry Kennedy, the freshman, from the 4-yard line. Kennedy looking to get outside. Oh, he is an exciting little football player, Larry Kennedy, the freshman out of Sarasota Riverview. A 39-yard return out to the 43-yard line. Pelfrey is the guy who made the tackle.
Maybe that was a wake-up call to the Gator offense right there, as Larry Kennedy, the young freshman, follows Harrison Houston, and as you mentioned, he is so exciting in the open field. There's the cutback. Gives his Gator offense great field position. Let's see if they can crank it up again. The offense has been dormant in the second half.
Kennedy quickly becoming one of the top defensive players on the Gator football team also. The sweep to Rhett, and Rhett carries it to the 50-yard line. A gain of 6. Marty Moore, the sophomore linebacker, made the tackle for Kentucky. Gators would like to utilize some clock. Maybe take 4 or 5 minutes off the clock. There's the Kentucky drive, an impressive drive itself, and now Florida would like to return to favor with a time-consuming drive to put points on the board.
Well, that time Florida had success turning the corner, getting outside. Once you get outside, a lot of good things can happen to an offense.
Dexter McNabb to the 43-yard line and a first down. Well, most Kentucky fans have looked ahead to the round ball season, but there are a few here this afternoon that still have hopes for their football team.
Got to put some first downs together, as you mentioned, not only to get in the end zone, but try and eat up time on this clock. Put this ball game to rest. Chalk it up as a W. That's the key right now.
Rhett's got good blocking ahead of him, and it's about 9 more yards. Clock down at about 9:25 now in the fourth quarter.
Really needs to be a sense of urgency in that offensive huddle in terms of not necessarily rushing to get the ball off, but a sense of urgency to get something accomplished, get points on the board. A touchdown as we look at the Gator brain thrust in the press box here, overlooking Florida Field.
A lot of Gator fans that have already booked reservations to New Orleans for New Year's Day. Gotten a little bit nervous here in the second half, I would imagine. The Gators called timeout.
I am. I know that. Nervous, I mean.
It's still a 9-point Gator lead with 8:51 left, and Spurrier and Matthews talk things over. Welcome back to Florida Field. We're in the fourth quarter. We've got 8:51 left. And there you see the yardage totals and a dead heat in the second half, whereas the Gators dominated the first half of play. Florida marching, though. Good field position on Kennedy's kick return, and they've kept it on the ground and continue to do so with McNabb. And McNabb has another Florida first down to the 33-yard line of Kentucky. Nose guard Joey Couch made the tackle.
Well, we talked about McNabb being a big, strong runner when he's called on, and they're calling his number here in the fourth quarter as they try and crank up that running game, eat up the clock, and move down the football field. When you also threaten the opponent with the run, it just makes that passing game even more dangerous.
Boy, the Gators didn't get a very good spot on this. Looked like the ball was well across the 33, and they've spotted it short of the 33, but it's still enough for the first down. The Gators on this drive have yet to put the ball in the air. McNabb and Rhett picking up yardage on this possession. And the pitch to Rhett. Rhett ran right over Kentucky and Adrian Sherwood in the crowd, and the Gator bench would like to see a late hit flag thrown there.
Yeah, Coach Spurrier was over there saying, hey, that was a little late, wasn't it, guys? Jim Graves, number 87, the defensive end, did a nice job of fighting off McNabb. You see 87 fighting outside, and also Adrian Sherwood, number 24, finally making the tackle, and that was a bit of a late hit, as Coach Spurrier is pointing out.
That play picked up 5 yards. Rhett has gone over the 100-yard mark. 5th time this season.
No!
Oh, my. Look at this. Robinson. And it is a foot race. Houston tripped him up from behind.
Oh, he didn't pick up the checkoff. I believe that's what happened. There's 2 tight ends. I think he checked off. And I don't know that Houston knew what was going on. Matthews throws a timing pass. He never even looked at the corner. Robinson read the play all the way. Houston does a fantastic job of hustling downfield to run down Robinson. I don't know if Robinson just made a great play without Matthews ever seeing him, or Houston ran the wrong route. 53-yard return.
Whatever the case, Kentucky, with Jones running that quarterback draw again to the 10. Jones is in for the touchdown. Good heavens, a 22-yard touchdown run. And it is 28-25.
Even the Kentucky fans are in shock.
And still 7:53 left in this football game.
That's all right. A lot of time.
Kentucky fans almost as stunned as those with the orange and blue on. The extra point is good. And we have a 2-point football game. And remember, Pelfrey If you get across the 50, he can kick it from 50 and beyond. And they're just 7:53 left in the ball game. Well, the Florida Gators were packing their bags for New Orleans. At the end of 2 quarters, it was 28-6. Now look at the score.
You know, one thing I read Coach Spurrier said earlier this week, he was surprised that the Gators hadn't really been tested in the Southeastern Conference late in the ball game. They'd never really been challenged by an opponent. Well, this afternoon, they're certainly being challenged late in this ball game by Kentucky. And a test of champions is if you can meet the test of a challenge when it's presented to you like this late in a ball game, and we'll find out if the Gators can get it done.
Eric Kennedy will bring it out again. This time to about the 30-yard line. Florida now nursing a 2-point lead over Kentucky. The Wildcats have scored 20 points in the second half while the Gators have been shut out. But they've had a lot to do with that themselves. Giving up a block kick, fumbling the football once, throwing a pass interception that set up that last touchdown. All of those mistakes beginning to really take their toll.
And Kentucky's excellent play in the second half. Both those things together have spelled trouble for the Florida Gators.
Now the Gators need desperately to get something going, and there's a penalty flag thrown in the backfield. Matthews keeps it and goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line.
Looks like it's going to be holding.
Now Florida is the most penalized team in the conference. Kentucky, the least penalized team. And that has continued true to form today.
Well over 7 minutes left in this ball game. A ton of time based on the ability of Florida to score so quickly, and obviously
offensive team half the distance penalty, repeating first down.
A face mask.
Grabbing the face mask. One of the offensive linemen was holding on to a face mask, evidently. Let's see if we can pick it up. Yeah, it's Isham Ishmael. They say grabs the mask of big number 98, Jerry Bell.
Gators have dug themselves a trench. And the blitz is on. The screen set up for Rhett. Rhett tackled from behind at the 22-yard line.
Gators almost shored the screen too quickly right there as they let the defenders in rapidly and then dumped the ball off to Rhett, but he did pick up some excellent yardage. Here's some turnover numbers that are ugly numbers for Florida Gator fans.
I've got 8 yards back. It's 2nd and 17 still. Matthews this time only a 3-man rush, but he can't find an open man. Now he spots Sullivan upfield, and Sullivan makes the catch and dives ahead to the 34. Clock running, 6 minutes, 45 seconds left in the fourth quarter. 28-26 Florida.
It's a big third down coming up here in terms of momentum. Kentucky obviously has it right now. The Gators need to take it away. They need to keep the drive alive as well, more importantly. Big third down.
Jackson and Houston are split wide to the right. Kentucky with the blitz. And a pass caught by Rhett. Rhett with that great second effort gets the first down to the 41-yard line. He carried Marty Moore the final 3 yards to pick up the big first down.
He caught the ball well short of the first down marker. Watch this. Eric Rhett is the dump-off receiver. Actually, he ran right by an inside linebacker. I don't know if he should have stayed in and made the block. He ran right by a blitzing inside linebacker, so Matthews knew he had to dump the ball off to him quickly. Rhett atoned for it by catching the ball and dragging a defender for the first down.
Rhett the ball carrier. Moore hits him right in the gap. And Rhett is out to the 45. A gain of 4 yards, and the clock running at 5 minutes and 37 seconds left in the fourth period.
Needless to say, the Gators need one big, long drive into the end zone and kill this clock. Get 7 and eat up the clock.
They had one going on their last possession and threw an interception that set up a Kentucky touchdown.
They had one going earlier and gave it up on a fumble.
The counter, Rhett comes back, gets a good block by White. And Eric Rhett squeezes that football, hangs on to it, and is well in Kentucky territory at the 40, a 15-yard carry.
We've not seen that counter play that much this afternoon. This has been a big play in the Gator offensive repertoire. This time it's the counter. There's the block by Mark White, who's holding on the play. Luckily, he's not flagged for it. Mark White holding number 56, Derek Thomas.
Eric Rhett with 131 yards and looking to get more here. And he did get more. Marty Moore, number 45, ran right into him after a gain of about 5.
I talked about Bill Curry preaching to his kids toughness, think positive, and they've really done it in great measure this afternoon after really getting pounded in the first half. To come out with such spit and vinegar in the second half, they've really given the Gators everything they could handle.
Counter run with McClendon. He breaks 2 tackles. Willie McClendon to the 20-yard line of Kentucky. And the game inside of 4 minutes now in the fourth quarter. Right at the 4-minute mark. A 16-yard carry for McClendon, who almost was tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
And almost had the ball jerked out of his hands as well. Right there, a ripping attempt at McClendon at the ball, but the fresh legs of Willie McClendon get the Gators inside the Kentucky 20-yard line. It looked like Willie picked up or pulled up a little lame on that play and has come out of the ballgame. I don't know if he maybe pulled a muscle or not, but he limped off the field.
Kentucky stops the clock with 3 minutes, 42 seconds remaining. And the entire Wildcat defense has been summoned to the sideline for a gathering.
I think it's really important for these Gator fans to get in the ball game right now and get behind this Gator offense and help coach them into that end zone. Kentucky again playing with great enthusiasm and has had the momentum throughout this second half, but here's a chance for the Gators to finally take it back.
And who would have believed at halftime that this game would be so closely resembling the 1984 game where Florida won the SEC championship on the field in Lexington, in which they just barely held off a Kentucky team up in the cold in Lexington. You got to give Kentucky credit, as you've said. They have kept their spirits about them, and you wonder, Jim, if maybe at halftime with that big lead and as easily as things had come to Florida, if maybe visions of Sugar Bowls were dancing in their heads a little too freely and they didn't keep focused on the business at hand this afternoon in the second half.
That's absolutely right. They were Sugar Bowls dancing in my head, I know that, and it was not competitive in the first half. This game was not competitive at all in the first half. Kentucky has really taken the ball game away from the Gators here in the second half and trail only by 2.
Matthews with that 362-yard effort has set a new record passing yardage against Kentucky. That's a record in the Kentucky record books. That's the farthest thing from his mind right now as he hands off to Eric Rhett. And Rhett, determined, moves inside the 10 to the Kentucky 8.
Eric Rhett urging the crowd on, and the crowd needs to urge Eric Rhett on.
Crowd got a little complacent here in the second half, too.
Fullback lead, Dexter McNabb on the lead block. Rhett makes the cutback because he gets an excellent block in the backside from Mark White, and there the Wildcats attempt to strip the ball away as they gang tackle the ball carrier. One thing the backs need to think about down here is protect that football, especially on the second and third hit you receive from the defense.
Rhett inside the 5 to the 4. The Gators have not put the ball in the air on this possession. Is that right, Jim?
I don't think they have.
I don't think they have either. And they didn't on the last possession until the pass, which was intercepted by Robinson.
Yeah, we're not going to call that play again.
Timeout called with 3:04 left.
Eric Rett, really a workhorse this afternoon, the big sophomore tailback. We see some Gator fans paying tribute to Ricky Nattiel in the stands. There's Eric Rett, the thoroughbred of this Gator offensive running attack. Almost 1,000 yards for the season, 997 right now, currently in this ball game. There's one reason he gets the yards. Cal Dixon, the big All-American offensive center. Jimmy Watson, offensive guard. Those guys need to crank it up right now. Isham Ishmael trying to stir things up in the huddle. They got to want to crunch it in there.
Let's check down on the sideline with Steve Babick. Steve?
You know, David and Jim, as this is going on, some of the biggest cheerleading on the sideline for the Gators has been the defense. Carlton Miles, Steve Bartley, they're exhorting Eric Rett and Willie McClellan in those runs. They feel it off and close there. A big drive, and they obviously want those points right now. Let's go back up to you guys.
Well, you know, only 3 other Florida running backs have gone over 1,000 yards in a season. Emmitt Smith, one of them. Jimmy DuBose, another. Neil Anderson, the third. And Eric Rett is about to become the 4th. But first, another timeout called for by the Gators. Kentucky has 1 timeout left. Florida now has 1 timeout left.
There was a personnel mix-up on the field. They didn't have the right personnel on the field for the play that was called, and they had to take a timeout so as not to get penalized. Obviously, you can't go backwards when you're down here this close in a game this critical.
28-26. Nobody's left this football stadium with 3 minutes and 4 seconds remaining. The Gators trying to lock up a bid to the Sugar Bowl this afternoon.
You got to feel like the Gators are in 4-down territory as well. If it's close on 4th and short, I don't know what the call might be.
Well, the field goal looks awfully good, though, right now with you're just up by 2, but
let's get 7.
You might be right. Right now it's 2nd down. Rett, his knee went down at about the 2. It looks like they'll spot him. He got tripped up by Jerry Bell. That'll bring up a huge 3rd down play.
Jerry Bell's played a great game for Kentucky at the tackle position right there. He used his big arm to trip up Eric Rett. Look at number 98 on his knees, reaching out to make the grab. If he'd not hit Rett, Rett would have been in the end zone.
This is the big play with 2:30 left. 3rd down and goal. Rett, short side of the field.
Oh!
He got in!
Oh!
Marty Moore, the linebacker, hit him right as he hit the goal line, and Moore argued about it, but the official right there made the call, the touchdown, and Rett not only puts the Gators up 34-26, but he gets 1,000 yards for the season in one motion.
You have to imagine a pane of glass, an invisible pane of glass going vertically above that goal line, and if you break that pane of glass, it's a touchdown, and that's evidently just what Eric Rett did. He didn't get much more than a shoulder in the end zone.
The extra point is good, and it is 35-26. The Gators needed a long drive,
Let's see
and
if
that's
we
what
can
they
take
got.
a look at how close this is to being stopped short of the goal line. The ball's in the end zone. That was the key. You couldn't have had a better position. If he'd had the ball in his right arm, that would not have been a touchdown. The ball's in the left arm. When he gets spun around, his face, his knees, everything are this side of the goal line, but the ball. It's the ball that breaks the plane.
Obviously the correct call, as we saw from the replay. 2:22 left. The scoring drive, a huge one for the Florida Gators, and maybe looked upon as the drive in future years that iced the SEC title. But there's still 2:22 left, and Kentucky's Pookie Jones, well, he's rushed for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's thrown for 151 yards. Well, what a game the redshirt freshman quarterback has had for Kentucky today.
Well, a touchdown and a field goal, right? All they need is 10.
Kurt Johnson from the 8-yard line. And a throwback to Clark, and Clark has to smother the football. They've tried a little bit of everything, Kentucky.
Why not? It could have worked. The ball was poorly thrown. It becomes a lateral in essence, but it was poorly thrown, and they weren't able to advance the ball down the field.
2 minutes, 16 seconds left. There's the young freshman from Murray, Kentucky. Gator fans a bit more at ease now after that long touchdown march and the touchdown run by Eric Rett. Only one timeout remaining for both football teams. Jones operating from the shotgun. And lobs it up the field, and the ball is caught. And Johnson alertly gets out of bounds to stop the clock with 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the fourth quarter. That's a Kentucky first down.
Timmy Paulk on the sideline, injured on the last play. The Wildcats continue to hurt the Gators with that shotgun rollout. And Pookie Jones is really throwing the ball extremely well here in the second half, something he couldn't get done in the first half.
They go with the draw play to Samuels. Samuels battering across the 45, gets about 9 to the 46 before Fee Bartley finally drops him with 1:56 left. Kentucky did not get the ball out of bounds that time, and they have just one timeout left. They elect to use it at some point in the future. The Wildcats are 2nd and 1. What a play by Jones. Samuels gets the first down for Kentucky.
How did he get that ball away? Darren Mickle has him airborne. Tony Rao and Cal Dixon of the offensive line.
1:17 left. And they'll bring the chains across from the far side to check for the first down.
He was airborne. He was horizontal to the field as he threw that ball, didn't he?
And he threw a strike.
Yeah. And they picked up the first down, I believe.
I think they've got it, too. Not really even that relevant because it'll just be 3rd down and inches anyhow.
Really, with 1:17 right now, it would take a miracle for Kentucky to get 10, but they could, if they scored quickly. That's the scary thing. If they score quickly, let's see. Yeah, he's going backwards. I don't know that his knee might have been down, but evidently they didn't think so. I thought he was knocked in the air, but he was falling backwards. Gators will be trying to prevent that big play, that big long pass right now in the secondary.
Kentucky has to take care of business first of all, and that's to get the first down.
Here we go, baby. The best offensive line in the nation on the way to FSU, baby. Now, FSU, come to us. Come to us.
Gators offensive lineman looking ahead to New Orleans with a minute 4 still on this one, and FSU. Well, Kentucky got the first down, exactly a minute left. 35-26 Florida. Jones wants to go long. Clark with the catch, and out of bounds he goes at the 36-yard line. The Gators playing very soft in the secondary.
Neil Clark having a great game for Kentucky this afternoon. Gators playing very deep in the secondary, and Clark is able to get down and break to the sideline, pick up excellent yardage underneath that 3-deep zone. .46 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Jones is on target again. Spear makes the tackle on Hobbs at the 21-yard line. Now 40 seconds left. And the clock is stopped.
Boy, what a performance by the redshirt freshman, Pookie Jones.
In the second half. The first half, it was almost non-existent, the Kentucky offense. Ron Zook yelling instructions to his defense. Quarterback draw.
Not this time. McCoy is there at the line of scrimmage, and Jones will have to use the last timeout. 34 seconds left, and Kentucky has burned its final timeout of the football game. They are at the Florida 20-yard line, down by 9.
And you say not this time because the last time he ran into the end zone on the quarterback draw.
Well, the Gators looking, hoping for an SEC championship. And not just the fans and the coaches, I would think especially the players on this football team. And Cal Dixon, an outstanding senior on the Florida football team. We talked to him earlier in the week about the importance of winning at the SEC for the seniors and all the players for the Florida Gators.
I think everybody realizes the importance of winning this game and winning the conference outright and not sharing it with anybody. And after all the things that we've been through, we don't want to have to share anything with anybody. We want it all to ourselves. And that'll be a great ending to my career and a great start for a lot of these younger players as far as the future for Gator football.
Dixon and his teammates 34 seconds away from the first outright official SEC football championship. But Kentucky is making them work for it. Jones rolling out again. Oh, fine defensive play by Kennedy. He took the ball right away from Clark at the 3-yard line.
Neil Clark was open initially. There was some distance between Clark and Kennedy. But what Kennedy does so well is break on the ball while it's in the air. Clark has him beat right here as the ball's in the air, but then Kennedy breaks rapidly and closes before the ball gets there. Just a brilliant effort by the quarterback Kennedy, and was that ever a critical play?
Now they get the ball at the 4-yard line, first and goal. As it is, it's still a 9-point lead, and this is a big third down play for Kentucky. They've got the first down. It looks like Samuel's close to it at about the 10. Maybe not. They may be a half a yard short.
And the clock continues to run.
No
15,
timeouts.
14, no timeouts. Where they're going to measure.
They'll measure for the timeout, although it looks like they're well short.
Yeah, the official gets booed because he stopped the clock when it did seem to be well short.
That gives Kentucky a chance to regroup. It is an inch or so short of the first down. So the Wildcats have only 14 seconds left. They have a fourth down play, so their dilemma is if they throw the ball in toward the end zone, which is really what they need, and don't complete it, then the game is over because they've turned the ball over on downs.
Yeah, why not go ahead and kick it right now and get the 3 and then come back and... No, I guess not.
Well, you got to get them in. Got to get them both. So your point is well taken. Take what you've got right now and then get the onside kick. But time is winding down as the clock begins to tick, and now down to 10.
He doesn't know it.
He's wandering up to the
football.
football.
Know it. The game's going to end. He doesn't know it.
He's got a man open in the end zone, but he one-hopped it, and that is it. Southeastern Conference football champions 1991, but let's see what the penalty is about. I think it'll be against Kentucky, and of course the Gators will decline, and there you have it. The head coach of the SEC champions, Steve Spurrier. He did it on the field last year with the best record in the league. He's done it for the record books in 1991.
A championship that's deservedly won on the field. As Michael Brandon, who was injured earlier this year, in the middle right there.
Part of this championship team And the Gators will be doing some celebrating tonight in Gainesville. 35-26, the final score. We'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Channel's coverage of Florida Gator football has been brought to you by Dairy Farmers Incorporated. Milk, it does a body good. By First Union. First Union Service, we guarantee it. By Osmos and Great Southern Wood, the most trusted name in wood preserving. By OM Genuine Draft and OM Genuine Draft Light. Real draft beer without the K. By Emily's Southeast Formula Motor Oil, built to keep it cool when the heat is on. And by Chevrolet and your Florida Chevrolet dealers.
Mr. Tubitz leading the cheers on the field, a celebration to beat all celebrations taking place downstairs. And there's the reason why. The Florida Gators wrap up the Southeastern Conference Championship with a 9-point win over the Kentucky Wildcats. Let's go down and join the celebration. Head coach Steve Spurrier and some of the players celebrating with 83,000 at Florida Field.
Thank you very much, and thanks for hanging around. We needed you there at the end. I tell you what, this is a game that we were really tested. Kentucky played super, but the Lord has smiled on us all season, and that last drive, he smiled on us again. I'm the luckiest guy in the world to be able to coach here at the University of Florida, to have such outstanding players, got the best assistant coaches in the country, got the most beautiful ballpark, Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. We've got everything going for us, and I'm lucky enough to be the coach of this group. I would like to say this: a special thanks and a special tribute to the 1990 team, especially those seniors that were not have a chance to have the trophies and recognition that this group has. Let's have a hand for the 1990 team. All right, at this time, I'm going to bring up our captains. I'm going to give them about a minute and a half to talk. First, here's Brad Culpepper.
We appreciate all the support you've given us this year. I said it at Gator Growl, and we made it come true. As the best Gator football team in history. Don't forget, we have one more in 2 weeks. We need y'all all.
Defensive captain, Tim Pope.
I just got one thing to say. The 91 Gators too legit to quit, baby. Let's go. New Orleans.
Offensive lineman Tony Rouse speaking for Cal Dixon.
I'd like to say thanks to all you guys for making our senior year the best it's ever been. And thank you guys. Be here for Florida State because we're going to need you.
All right, thank you, Tony. I tell you one thing before we close and sing the alma mater. You people, our great fans, the best in the world, you really helped us through the Alabama-Tennessee game, and especially here today against Kentucky. You deserve this as much as we do. Let's all enjoy this conference championship tonight, and we wake up tomorrow morning. Let's remember that Florida State comes in 2 weeks.
for this one too. We have some special guests at midfield. At midfield, we gotta take this one, Gators. Hold on, Gator Band. Hold on, Gator Band. Give us a second, Gator Band. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Tell them, students. Yeah. I'd like to introduce to you the Commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, Roy Kramer, the President of the USF&G Sugar Bowl, Sam Zurich Jr., Sugar Bowl Associate Oliver Delary, and joining the midfield with us is the President Dr. John Lombardi, Athletic Director Bill Arnsparger, and Faculty Athletics Representative Dr. Nicholas Cassisi. And they will now present the Florida Gators with the official Sugar Bowl invitation to the SEC champions.
On behalf of the USF&G Sugar Bowl, it gives me great pleasure to invite the 1991 SEC champions to New Orleans for the USF&G Sugar Bowl Classic.
We should have been there last year also.
Gator Band, Coach says crank that album on, and we're going to sing it right now.
Celebration, Jim Yarborough, and everybody involved with Florida football understands why this is quite a day in Gator football history.
Oh, it's a great moment in Gator history, David, as the Gator football team wins an uncontested Southeastern Conference championship. They were really challenged by Kentucky in the second half. The better team won. The scoreboard does not lie, and the game was fair. The Florida Gators are the champions of the Southeastern Conference.
Kentucky, a football team that through the years has made it tough on the Florida Gators, and they certainly came through in that kind of fashion this afternoon. They played a great second half, but that last drive kept it on the ground. Eric Rett took it in for the touchdown, and that was a very big drive for the Gators.
Well, they needed that touchdown because Kentucky had stolen the momentum and had really pressed the Gators in the second half, and Eric Rett was able to squeeze into the end zone and give them that game touchdown clinching victory.
Eric Rett is the old Milwaukee player of the game, by the way, as his performance this afternoon just sensational. 154 yards. He also caught 5 passes for 35 yards, ran the ball in for a touchdown. So Eric Rett is our player of the game. Sports Channel's next University of Florida football game will be Saturday, November 30th at 11:30 p.m. for the season finale of Gator football, when the Gators battle the Florida State Seminoles. Check local listings for Sports Channel and Gator Vision coverage in your area. Along with Jim Yarborough, I'm David Steele from Florida Field. Again, the final score, the SEC champion Florida Gators 35, Kentucky 26.